Good morning, everybody. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. What a day we're going to have today discussing what happened yesterday. So let me get on it. It was a great win. Let's focus on that first, and then we'll get to the negatives of it. It was a great win because of Saquon Barkley and the amazing touchdown run where he was athletic enough to burst through and then veer his body on a slant and then run away from defensive backs who were supposed to be faster in this league than running backs. What running back runs away from people anymore? All right, it was a great win because Kellen Moore made a great play call on the tight end crossing route to Dallas Goedert with Jahan Dotson making a strategic pick to block as the Saints blew their coverage and collided with one another in the middle of the field. It was a great win because of Vic Fangio, who shackled this supposedly potent Saints offense, doing it with a five-man front, changing it up a little bit, and getting monster games from defensive linemen, especially Jalen Carter, but BG has to be cited there. It was a great win because they lost 5 players to injury, including the whole right side of their offensive line. And guys like Tyler Steen and especially Fred Johnson weathered the storm. And it was a great win because they won a game where incompetence was evident. Penalties. 12 men in the huddle. A block punt. 2 more turnovers from the quarterback. Shaky third down play calling, which forced them to go for it a couple of times on 4th down, including a stupid decision not to kick a field goal, put points on the board before the first half. Instead, they went with the fake tush push, and it was snuffed because Calcaterra can't block. And it was such a great win that I'm going to try to be unaffected by the more ridiculous platitudes offered by the head coach, Nick Sirianni, who after the game cited his kid's T-ball coach as inspiration. So I'm going to throw it to Mr. Football here, Bill Colarulo, because this is a game I can't believe they won, first of all, but they did. And so I can't sit here and first criticize the bad that went on, although there was plenty, because I think Saquon Barkley with that run may have saved the season and the head coach's job. What say you?
Well, good morning, Mike. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning.
It's a victory Monday, so we could start there. I'm with you on the positives. It's a gutsy win. You go on the road. It was a short week coming off of a Monday night. You're playing at a place you haven't won since 2007. You battled a ton of injuries, not only with A.J. Brown before the game, but in the game. You lose your starting right tackle, your starting right guard. You have an entirely different right side of the line. You lose Devontae Smith in that game, Darius Slay. So you got to give them credit for the resiliency to win this football game. But to your point on how did they win this game, at one point they went 5 straight drives with the following: interception in the red zone, fumble in New Orleans territory, turnover on downs, blocked punt. That was 5 straight drives for the Philadelphia Eagles, and yet somehow they win this football game. Hats off to Saquon Barkley. Hats off to Vic Fangio for game planning to be able to stop that New Orleans run, which I was hopeful he was going to be able to do. I said that last week. But it brings me to the head coach. It brings me to the man that I have defended all offseason in deserving to come back for another season, because I said there was a lot more good than bad, and he deserved to come back. And yesterday,
so much good.
Nick was an absolute moron yesterday. I cannot defend the decisions. And when a player starts to press, it's hard for them to get out of it. They start doing things on the field that are uncharacteristic. When a coach starts to press, there's really no coming back from that. He is the CEO coach. You've heard me get on Dan Campbell. When you're the CEO coach, you can't make bad decisions that lose football games for your team. When Nick is the CEO coach and he makes stupid decisions, not aggressive, not reckless, just plain stupid, I can't defend him. So Nick Sirianni, they won that game in spite of you, my friend.
All right, there are some things I just don't understand. And again, I didn't want to go negative from the start because it was really a good win. And you breathe a sigh of relief, but it was a good win. I mean, they earned it. They really earned the win. Here's what I don't understand, because a lot of people go, okay, his mentality is to go for it on fourth down, blah, 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 blah. They're aggressive. He stays with his conscience on those fourth downs. Here's what I do not understand. I don't understand the third down calls, which get it to fourth down. First drive of the second half, 3rd and 6 at the New Orleans 37. 3rd and 6 now. They run Barkley off tackle. Why? Okay, so what they're setting up, trying to get a 4th and 1 so they can push it? Well, what's the guarantee that you're going to get a 4th and 1? It's 3rd and 6. Trust your quarterback. So now that brings you to a 4th and 3, and they go for it there, and Hurts gets sacked because he has to throw the ball at that point. Now, Barkley gets the touchdown to put him ahead. But then later, they try a 60-yard field goal. And I'm thinking, okay, people are all upset because they tried a 60-yard field goal. They had to try a 60-yard field goal there. He's perfectly capable of making that. It's indoors. He's kicked a 61-yarder. But on 3rd and 11, instead of a mindset to get closer, they go with a deep pass to Dotson, which is incomplete. They're at the 42. How about an 8-yard pattern, which gets them in the more manageable field goal range? These are the things I do not understand on the play calls.
Yeah, and on that one at the end of the game, I think even before the play, Greg Olson said, if it's not there, you just got to get enough yards to make the field goal a little bit easier. But the reason I didn't like it when you said they had to kick the 60-yard field goal, your defense was playing very good. So you've only given up 6 points to that point. You punt the ball, you pin the Saints deep in their own zone, and you trust your defense. This was a defensive game that the defense was performing very well. But when we go back to the first half, I say a lot there's a difference between being aggressive and being reckless. At the end of the first half, when it's 4th and 1, there's only 14 seconds left in the game. You're on the 15-yard line. The score is 3-0. You're not being aggressive or reckless in that situation going for it. You're being stupid because even if you get the first down, even if Saquon Barkley picks up the first down when you tried to get cute with the fake tush push, you got to use your last timeout. So what are you doing? So you're going to have the ball on the 14 or the 13-yard line with no timeouts, 13 seconds left on the clock. Your quarterback just threw a red zone interception earlier in the game, so you're going to make him force something into the end zone? Just take the 3 damn points. You played a terrible first half.
I totally agree with you. And he's thinking they could squeeze out maybe 2 plays of throws that were incomplete or whatever, and then or at least one, and then they can kick the field goal. But you're right. Why chance it? At that point, just get the 3, get on the board. You haven't scored. They're up 3-0, and you've been outplayed in the first half. So going into halftime, tied 3-3, and you get the ball, start the second half. I can't figure out where the thinking comes from, because there's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of analytical thinking, there's a lot of information passed to the head coach. I don't get how the most obvious thing does not play out.
I really think that Nick Sirianni is pressing. I think after the way the week 2 went, where his decisions were being questioned, he's now doubling on this, I need to be aggressive, but he's losing sight of the fact that there's a difference between being aggressive and being dumb. And in that moment, on the road, in what was a defensive matchup, after a bad first half, when you're getting the ball to start the third quarter, you take the points. You got to have a feel for the game. You can't just say, well, we're going to be aggressive. I'm going to stay true to who I am. No, there's a feel for the game. And when you're the CEO coach, which Nick Sirianni is, you can't afford to get those decisions wrong. It's the only thing that he's responsible for on game day.
Yeah. No, listen, I agree. Again, when we talk about the field goal, I didn't think that was a bad decision to try to kick it. Now, it forced them into kicking it from 60 yards. But if that's good, and why wouldn't I think that he could make that? It's 12-10 at that point. So, they're within a field goal. So I didn't have a problem with that. Plus, you mentioned their defense had been stopping them. So
no, it would have been 10-6. It was a 7-6 game when he went for the 60-yarder.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it was 70. And then
so that would have put him ahead by 4.
Would have made it a 10-6 game. But instead, they gave them the ball at midfield, and then the Saints went and scored and went up 12-7.
But you said yourself that their defense had been playing really well. So,
but why give them a short field?
Listen, you're looking at the short field as opposed to whether he can make that field goal. I'm looking at like he's going to make that. I mean, like,
60 yards is not an easy
he's
kick.
kicked a 61-yarder. This is indoor. Like, I didn't see the peril of hit. Like, he just pushed it. Like, he has plenty of leg to make that.
But the frustrating thing is, in the third quarter, coming out of the half, when they got the ball back, they get down to the 34-yard line on a 4th and 3, and Sirianni decides not to kick it to tie up the game again.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't kick before the half, you don't kick right after the half, but then you try a 60-yarder?
I just look at the third down plays and go, what are you doing? Like, it's obvious. Like, get in field goal range closer. Like, don't like risk a bomb there. Like, just throw it at a tight end and nestle in there at the 35 and then have him kick the 3.
And how about that tight end, man? I kept saying I'm sick of asking for the Dallas Goedert game, and now we finally got one.
Yeah, all right. So listen, Eagle fans, digest what you saw. A big win, but a lot of stuff to complain about. 610-632-0975. It is the Mike Missanelli Show, and we're back after this.
The best show ever.
Eagles win. Well, I tell you what, we were all sharpening the knives. It was going to be doom and gloom, and all of a sudden, boom! There he goes for a touchdown, and then Dallas Goedert makes the play of the game, and the Eagles survived the game. And then after the aftermath, all the trash talking going on. Jalen Carter wanted a piece of Tyrann Mathieu's arch after the game, and then CJ was going off. Can we get a little taste of CJ, Ray? You got a little CJ taste here? I don't know what he was saying, frankly, but he just kept going on and on and on. Let's hear CJ Gardner-Johnson after the game.
Take us through the final drive. Derek Carr had the interception.
We knew he was going to give us one all game. Everybody want to bet on. They thought they had us on a little 7 route to Olave. Okay, cool, but ain't nothing go over our head all day. We got the best secondary, best D-line, best front 7 in the league right now. And I'm popping it because at the end of the day, they said we were down and out. They thought about last week. Now look at you now.
That's been the top offense in the league coming into today.
Man, we're in top what? Top what? Top what? Top what? Top what? Ain't nothing get over that top from shout out to Slade, shout out to Q, shout out to Vontae, shout out to Reed. Shout out to Ringo, shout out to Coach CP, shout out to Coach JK. Hey, man, the best secondary in the league. That's the case.
What'd you have to play through today?
We ain't played through nothing. Played through my teammates. I'm not worried about somebody. Listen, we keep receipts. That's what I told y'all in the locker room. See y'all Sunday. But I told y'all a couple days before, they got rid of me. I ain't get rid of them. It's still in me. It's still tallied on me. I ain't worried.
We keep receipts. Dude, you needed a couple of big plays to overcome some horrible mistakes, including you giving up a touchdown down there. But, all right, hey, listen, you like that swagger?
I do to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I mean, they needed that. They missed that last year. They missed that last year. And Jalen Carter, you said that before we played that clip. I mean, he was fired up on the sideline. So much that Big Dom had to come over, Sirianni, Clint Hurt. Yeah. But I like it. I like the chip on their shoulder a little bit. But I said this last week, and this was impressive. I don't want to take anything away from the defense. It was impressive. The game plan was good. They came out in 5-man fronts. They ran a lot of twists with their D tackles. Great job by Vic Fangio. Jalen Carter played the way we've wanted him to play all season. However, to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's point, the Saints aren't that good. Like, I don't know why this offense. Yeah, through 2 weeks, they were impressive. They played the Panthers and the Cowboys. I said that last week. They're not that good. Derek Carr is Derek Carr. He's not an elite quarterback. Their offensive line still has issues. Trevor Penning's not a very good right tackle. They don't have a ton of weapons on the outside. Yeah, Olave,
well, listen,
Rashid Shaheed.
You can't say that after a team rolled up 40-plus in the first 2 games. Now, maybe it was fool's gold, but they still scored over 40. So, here was the thing. Fangio adjusted. They didn't. They didn't adjust to what the Eagle defensive coordinator was doing to them. They looked befuddled the entire game, except for some bursts by Kamara. They did get the ball. They didn't get the ball down the field to Shaheed.
The crazy thing is, outside of the scoreboard, this was an absolute dominant performance by the Philadelphia Eagles. They outgained them 460 yards to 219. They outrushed them 172 to 89. And holding the Saints to 89 yards is the first time the Eagles defense hasn't let an opponent rush for over 100 yards dating back 12 games. You got to go all the way back to November of last season against the Cowboys. Finally, they figured out how to stop the run. So you got to take the positives, I guess, to our point.
Now people are going to adjust to that. The NFL is really an interesting league where you got superior beings analyzing and adjusting. And the Saints got caught with their pants down. The Saints were riding a wave like, wow, nobody can stop us. And yet the defense was engineered to stop them, and they didn't have an answer for it. That's an offensive coordinator problem for them.
It is. I mean, Clint Kubiak, he had his opportunity in Minnesota, wasn't great. Comes into the Saints through 2 weeks, looked really good, but Fangio, being a smart defensive coordinator, figured out how to adjust to it. But really, the major difference that I saw with this defense yesterday compared to the first 2 weeks was Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Milt Williams.
Yeah, the middle.
They stepped up. And when you can do that with your interior, you're going to cause a lot of problems for opposing offenses, and that's what you need and what you expect from Jalen Carter.
Now, Josh Huff, again,
Bryce Huff. You should call him Josh Huff.
Josh Huff.
You should call him
Josh Huff was the guy who got caught on the bridge, right?
With the gun, yeah.
Yeah, he was Chip's guy.
He was out of Oregon.
Bryce Huff, the 18 snaps, nothing.
You know, Josh Huff still has the last kick return in Philadelphia for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
They have not had a kick return for a touchdown since Josh
Oregon's
Huff.
finest. 610-632-0975. Let's get to the phones. I'm assuming it's going to be a busy day, and I don't know if Eagle fans know how to react because they were so down. If you looked at social media, they just couldn't wait to put Sirianni on the plank. And then all of a sudden, boom, and now I don't think they know how to react. But Rashid in West Philly starts us off. What's up, Rashid?
Hello, good morning. My apologies for calling you buddy last Friday.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Skip.
No, I know, but we had it right though. We had it right. You definitely called it good. Said that we'll find a way. So I just feel good that the defense showed up, and then just give tremendous credit to the DC for just finding a way. I had to see Derek Carr do it too. I watched him 9 years, and he's been not a good quarterback. So I felt good about the win, and then it just felt good to finally get a victory since '07 in New Orleans, and just continue just to try to fight through the adversity with the turnovers. And I just like from Jalen, he just kept studying. That last drive was a hell of a drive, even though he had a rough game, but just can try to just fight through with the injuries and just try to continue just to stack wins till we can get healthy.
Listen, I agree. I don't know what's going to happen next week in Tampa Bay. They got hummed. They might have been taking themselves a little too seriously.
Baker stinks, Mike. I keep telling you.
They got hummed. I don't know how they're going to come out next week. I would assume that the Eagles are a favorite in that game.
Yeah, I think we like 2.5 as an early line, but I can see us going into this break 3-1 and hopefully get Devontae back and get AJ back and then go from there. And I think we'd be at full strength after this bye, and then hopefully we can get rolling.
All right, man. You got it, Rashid. I actually don't like them next week.
Oh, boy, we're not doing that yet. Let's enjoy the win.
I know, but I got a bad feeling about next week because of Tampa Bay getting hummed.
Baker stinks, man.
Yeah, but when you get beat like that, it's like they're determined to come back and forget. Well, I don't even. You're right. I shouldn't even want to talk about that game.
But yeah, no, we'll talk about it all week. But look, I went off on Sirianni to start the show. I didn't love the decisions. But we also got to talk about as great as Jalen Hurts played. These turnovers, man. These turnovers, they're becoming a real issue.
2 more. What is that? 26.
Most turnovers, Mike. Most turnovers in the NFL since the start of last season.
6 already this year. I mean, that's just absurd. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show. Following an Eagles W. Back after this. show. I was watching a show. It's a new show called Something News with Roy Wood and Michael Ian Black on it, and they do these like quizzes. One of the questions, I was watching it last night for a little bit, was what stars, what musicians or what stars got their high school diploma as an adult? Eminem.
Like a GED?
Eminem did.
He got his GED?
Yeah, as an adult.
Good for him.
I didn't know he was a flunk out.
I think I did.
Yeah, you could.
That kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
I don't know. 8 Mile. You might have skated through school, Detroit school system.
It's possible.
All right. So I'm telling you, I can't fathom thinking. That doesn't appear logical to me. So now I'm going to bitch, even though the Eagles won the game. I've already given all the platitudes of their winning, but I just don't understand. Like, Bill, you're a football man, right? So they're 3rd and 6 at the New Orleans 37. Now, okay, I get where you're in 4-down territory, but not at 3rd and 6. At 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, you're in 2-down territory there. You would go for it. At 3rd and 6, how do you think that you can run it there and still have a manageable 4th down?
Which one was this?
This was the first drive of the second half.
First drive of the second half.
3rd and 6 at the New Orleans 37. They ran Barkley off tackle.
And they picked up 3.
3. So now it's a 4th and 3. They go for it. That's when Hurts was sacked. So why is 3rd and 6 the rundown? 3rd and 4, I can see you giving it to Barkley, and then you set up maybe a 4th and 1 or a 4th and 2 at the most, right? 3rd and 6 is a little more difficult. Like, why wouldn't you throw a quick out or a tight end who sits down? And I don't understand that.
I don't mind the play call as much because they made the decision, I'm assuming, they made the decision before that play where Sirianni says to Kellen Moore, you got 2 downs.
Yeah, but how do you...
You're going to go for it.
How do you make that decision? That's what I'm saying. At 3rd and 4, you make that decision. At 3rd and 6, you make that decision?
Well, it's the spot on the field that you're on. They were at the 37.
Yeah.
So he probably makes up his mind prior to that play. All right, we're between the 35 and 40, so I'm going to give you 2 downs to pick up the first, and then Kellen Moore calls a running play. I don't hate that as much.
Yeah, I think it's stupid. I really do. I don't understand how you can assume that you're going to be in 4-down territory when you're 3rd and 6. Again, if it's 3rd and shorter, then yeah, I get it. But again, like before the 60-yard field goal, 3rd and 11. Now, did that make sense to you, going deep?
No, that one I thought you should have tried to pick up, especially if you knew at that point, we're going to try to kick a field goal, pick up 5 or 6 yards.
Yeah, this is what I don't understand. The 3rd down calls I don't understand.
Well, who do you put that on? You put that on Kellen or Nick?
Well, listen, Nick has final say on the whole thing. He said, like, I could tell that he was going to run that fake tush push, because he had a big conversation. Like, he was involved in that play.
Kept covering his mouth. He was talking too much. When they lined up,
that play.
You knew, right? When they lined up, I'm like, okay, they're going to do something cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one frustrated me.
All right, let's go Greg in Bethlehem. What's up, Greg?
Hey, guys. Sloppy win. I think Nick has too many fingerprints on the game plan, as you've already demonstrated. But I thought the most surprising positive was Fangio's response to the previous weeks and what he did with the defensive line. I mean, my biggest concern going in was going to be pass rush and stopping the run, and they did an incredible job on the pass rush. And, they held Kamara to a reasonable number. Mm-hmm. So I think Nick needs to thank Vic for the win. And I would prefer if Nick just kind of backed up into the shadows and stayed out of it.
Well, he's not going to do that. Did he laud Fangio yesterday in the post game? I don't know. Did he, Ray?
Laud the defense.
He lauded the defense, and not Fangio's gameplay. Here's the thing, Greg. In the NFL, it's weird because you have all these this vast intelligentsia, right? Now, did the New Orleans offensive coordinator think that because the Eagles couldn't stop the run in the first couple of games, that they were going to do something different in this game? like this is what I don't understand. Kubiak's going to go, all right, well, Fangio's too smart. He's not going to do he's probably going to throw 5-man front at it, whatever he's going to do. And so, and it did, when he did it, they didn't adjust to it. Like, they played right into it.
Yeah, it's a chess game, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But I just thought that the plays that Nick admitted to calling were not successful or stupid plays.
Well, I mean, Nick can always overrule. Nick is always talking, I like to do this here. And it shapes what Kellen Moore's going to call.
Yeah. No, I think in those situations, to your point, too, about the third down calls, I do think Nick is in his ear about, hey, you got 2 downs. Why don't you try running the ball here?
Yeah.
He definitely called the fake tush push to Barkley at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put a lot of it on Nick Sirianni. Now, I do want to give Kellen Moore some credit here because you're without A.J. Brown. You're without Devontae Smith. That play design on the Dallas Goedert long 60-yard pass play at the end of the game was beautiful. When he has Jahan Dotson running that crossing route, causing 2 New Orleans Saints defenders to literally bump into each other to get Dallas Goedert wide open against a 3-man front. They were in a more of a prevent type of defense. You shouldn't be able to do that. That's a great play design.
Yeah. A lot of people were fired up about the Devontae Smith hit, which knocked him out of the game with a concussion. And Lane Johnson had a concussion. A lot of guys are banged up, man. Slay limping off the field. And a lot of people were outraged there was no penalty there. Maybe they could have called the penalty, but I'm looking at the play, and I'm going, there was no whistle. He's still kind of in motion. What is the defender not supposed to hit him there? He hit him, and it jolted him, knocked his helmet off, but I thought he led with his shoulder, and it kind of like, as Devontae was coming down, the shoulder then pushed the helmet off. I don't know. What did you think of that play?
I was not upset with the Saints defender. I was furious with the referee.
They should have blown the whistle first.
Absolutely. Devontae Smith's forward progress is stopped. He's being pushed back 5 yards. The defender's got to play to the whistle. The referee should have blown the whistle. The NFL loves to preach player safety. That's what they're all about.
Yeah.
Blow the damn whistle,
Is that guy going to get fined, you think?
The ref? The ref should be fined.
Not the ref.
He won't.
The guy who hit Devontae Smith.
I don't think he did anything wrong. The guy,
but they don't like
played
those
to the
head
whistle.
shots. The guy got a concussion. They'll probably come in and throw a fine at him.
Well, listen, you get fines for hits on defenseless receivers. Devontae Smith's a runner there. He's not a defenseless receiver, so I don't know what the rule would be that he couldn't hit the guy unless it was head-to-head, which I don't think it was. That's on the ref.
And by the way, I thought that the Eagles got a break. I thought Kamara had that first down. I think he had pushed the ball ahead. If you look at the replay, the ball was forward before he curled it back.
Were you surprised they didn't challenge it?
Well, it was supposed to be. It was a automatic challenge because it was
a turnover on downs.
Turnover on downs, and so I was surprised that they didn't get that.
There must not have been a clear enough angle, I guess. Because I'm with you. I thought he got it as well, and that turned out to be a big difference in the game.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to Jamie. He's in Washington, D.C. What's up, Jamie?
Hey, guys. How's everybody this morning?
Good, Jamie. How you doing?
I'm frustrated, but I'm also positive. I called last week to talk about, a couple of changes the defense would make. You had a offensive coordinator that they were starting to get some film on. They were explosive for the first 2 weeks, kind of reminded me of the old Chip Kelly offense, and then somebody gets tape on it. But the bigger thing I saw was the resilience in that team, losing all those weapons, the offensive line, the protection. Sure, he's trying to make plays, but he makes some bad choices. Yeah, but 2 turnovers on the road in New Orleans, and we get a W. I mean,
yeah, it's a pretty amazing win. I say it's a great win. As much as we want to paint the bad picture of things that went on, it's still a great win.
Yeah, I mean, just to see the nastiness that Carter had towards the end of the game, he had to be held back. A little SEC, I guess him and defensive players for the Saints were chirping.
Tyrann Mathieu.
They were. I mean, it was and then Goddard. He got all the targets that we said he didn't get the week before, and when he gets his targets, he makes great plays. Barkley, 65-yard run, sets everything else up. So, hey, we got Baker at home. We lose to him in the playoffs.
Oh, revenge! It's a revenge game. You like the Eagles?
I don't know. But one more thing. You're missing a guy. His first 6 games for the Eagles had 100 yards receiving each game. It was like a record. That A.J. Brown. He's going to get back on the field.
You're going to get back next week?
I'm not in the room. I am frustrated with Nick's.
Why aren't you in the damn room, Jamie? Get in the room.
Hey, get us the scoop.
Get in the room.
Yeah, I can't. No VIP. I'm down here in D.C. I might be able to get something at the Capitol, but I can't get something down there at the NovaCare Center.
I got you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, Jamie. Yeah, Fred Johnson, when he first came in, there was a penalty right away. And that was really Steen's fault. He didn't tap. Right?
Yeah.
Got a silent count. And I'm going, oh, boy.
Yeah. He fixed it, though.
This could be an adventure. He did. He played very well after that.
But to that caller's point, and we'll focus on that Bucs game later this week, but it's going to be interesting. Can Lane play? Can A.J. play? There's going to be a lot of injuries. Can Devontae play? When you're dealing with head injuries, it's always questionable. But let me say this, Mike. I came at Nick Sirianni to start the show, rightfully so, because the decisions he made were terrible. They were stupid. Mm-hmm. No rhyme or reason for the things that he did. But that caller talked about this resilient win. You do have to give the head coach some credit for this team being resilient. I hated the in-game decisions. When you're a CEO coach, that is inexcusable.
Well, he expressed that very eloquently also after the game.
Oh, he said it a million times.
But that's here. Sometimes you get inspired by people that you run across in life, and so here's the head coach talking about who may have inspired him for this week.
My son's baseball coach always says that when they make a mistake in baseball, he's a really good coach, Coach Dan. He's like, so what? Now what? Like, if they make a mistake in baseball, so what? Now what? And that's what they did, So what? We made a mistake. We got to get over it. Now what?
So there you go. Coach Dan, Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan inspired him.
The worst part of this is, I think Sirianni's son's
now
like 9. You're talking about like a T-ball coach. I can't. I've tried to defend this guy. I'm losing.
That would be Little League, wasn't it? 9?
Yeah,
no, Little League is 10. It might be the lower rung before Little League.
Man.
Whatever that is.
But, like, you're coming out of a game where you just made some terrible decisions. And that is your big point at the press conference is what your son's Little League baseball coach says? I mean, I can't defend him anymore, Mike. But I'm giving him credit for the resiliency of the team because that does start with the head coach. But my God, Nick.
Get out of my face, Gump.
Lieutenant Dan.
It's all right because he also said that wins like this bring the team closer together and did another one of our favorite things when he's at the podium.
We'll remember this. That brings a team close. Everybody, I know my dad's going to text me. Hey, make sure that we win by a little bit more. I only got, you make it pretty nervous. It make me nervous, but when you win like that, man, it's special, and we're going to remember this one, and we're going to remember it on the way home. But then we're going to move on. But just a special team win.
Well, see, Dad gets in it. Brother got shut out. He went Dad, Lieutenant Dan, and then no brother. And Pop got in there.
You know what I'd love to think? I don't think Sirianni's smart enough to do this, but you know what I'd love? I'd love if Sirianni said, you know what? I'm going to continue to say ridiculous things at press conferences so that all the heat's on me after the game, and they're not talking about Jalen Hurts turnovers. They're not talking about the fact that Bryce Huff played the least amount of snaps of any edge rusher, almost twice as less as what Brandon Graham played at 36 years old, which is just mind-blowing to me. Maybe Sirianni's that smart. Maybe it's like, let all the narrative be about how dumb I am.
No. I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
Yeah, no,
I don't think he is either.
I don't think that he's the sharpest nail. Got to be honest with you. But, I think he puts that stuff out there thinking it's really beneficial for people to hear. I really do.
You can't say it with a straight face.
I really can't. I go. Well, he brought the Coach Dan in there yesterday. I go, oh, for crying out loud! Does he not know this sounds so ridiculous?
Hey, 5 more minutes of us talking about that versus his in-game decisions is, I guess, a win for him.
I guess, but it's certainly not strategic on his part. We got some Eagle text, Ray. What are they saying today?
We got, first up, Jamal in West Philly. Very simply, Bill, you got some explaining to do.
Yeah, I know. That is the truth. Because I've defended this man. I have defended Coach Sirianni.
You got a W out of it. You just said 3 seconds ago the head coach has to get some plaudits.
I'm giving him credit for the resiliency of the team because you did battle a lot of adversity, and that does start with the head coach. But I've said this about Dan Campbell, so I have to stay true to it with Nick Sirianni. When you are the CEO coach, you cannot get in-game decisions wrong that can prevent your team from winning the football game. Now, they won this game, but they won in spite of those decisions, not because of them. You can't afford to do that as a CEO coach.
All right,
go ahead. Give me something better.
Pete in Allentown. Tremendous win. I do not see this team the same as last year. The team looks much better, even though Jalen looks bad. It just proves to me that Jalen needs all of his gadgets to be playing to look good. We need Brown, Smith, and Barkley all to be playing to cover for Jalen's deficiencies. If we had an elite quarterback, we'd be setting NFL records for points. We have just a good quarterback that looks better sometimes because of the weapons. Pete in Allentown.
Here's my response to that. And the turnovers are a major issue. But you just saw Jalen Hurts put up over 300 yards, drive his team down the field for a game-winning drive, and that texter says all those weapons. You had no A.J. Brown. You had no Devontae Smith on that final drive. You had no Britton Covey on that final drive. He did it with Dallas Goedert, Jahan Dotson, and Johnny Wilson as his 3 receiving threats. That was an impressive drive by Jalen Hurts. Yes, he has a lot of weapons. Yes, he needs to clean up the turnovers, but the guy is still putting up good numbers and did lead your team to victory. And as Nick Sirianni also told us after the game, he's a winner, Mike. Did you know that? He's a winner.
A freaking
He
winner.
is a winner, except for the time he didn't know that he couldn't enter the huddle until it was cleared out. And thereby getting a 12-man on the
that
field
was bad.
penalty. Come on, Jalen.
That was bad. That was definitely bad. But he also got to give credit to the Saquon Barkleys of the world because there's only one of them. Do you know that 60-something yard touchdown run that he had, Mike, that really, you said, saved the season? Next Gen Stats put out, do you know what the expected yards gained were on that play? 3 yards.
Yeah, that's amazing. He had to burst through it, but the way he veered, he leaned his body.
It's incredible. You can't teach vision like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. He was inspired by the fact that Penn State rolled up a new yards record on Saturday.
That's right. You were texting me, keeping me up to date.
Against always tough Kent State.
They covered the 48 and a half.
Yes, they did. They went 55-0.
Incredible.
Yeah. All right. Well, in any event, they gave you the Congressional Medal of Honor. They gave you an imbecile, a moron who goes on television and makes a fool out of himself in front of the whole damn country.
Wait, are you comparing Nick Sirianni to Forrest Gump?
I don't know. I'm here to try out my sea legs. But you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
No, he's talking about Coach Dan. He's talking about the Little League baseball coach.
No, he's Lieutenant.
Very inspiring.
He's Lieutenant Dan from now on.
Very inspiring stuff.
Let's go. Anchie P in North Philly. What's up, Anchie P?
Mikey Mitch, what's the deal?
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, man, listen, man. I got 3 things, Mikey Mitch. For one, I respect you a lot. I tell you every time I go. I don't know if you remember me calling the week before we played the Falcons. And I told you, don't count your eggs before they hatch. And you did, and you see what it got us. So I hope that you learned that lesson.
Well, how were my eggs yesterday when I picked the Eagles to win? I guess you didn't listen to that last week, did you?
I did because I was kind of mad at you, Mike. I ain't gonna lie. But
I go by feel, Anchie P. Come on.
Right. For sure. I respect you, though, man. Secondly, though, it was a good win, man. We had a good win yesterday. Good, hard-fought football. Old school football, run the ball down their throat and win with our defense. You get what I'm saying? But Kellen Moore needs to be more aggressive. Everybody keep complaining and crying about Nick Sirianni play calling. That's who Nick Sirianni is. He's an aggressive coach. That's the same way. That's the reason why we went to the Super Bowl. That's the same reason why we started 10-1 last year. He's going to be aggressive. We got to live. We got to die with him. Kellen Moore got to match that energy. He can't be on the sideline all frail. None of that. You know what I'm saying? He in Philly now, Mike Smith. He got to start saying it with his chest. It looked like he's not even saying nothing with his chest. You know what I'm saying? We gotta watch a couple Rocky movies or something, or listen to a little bit of Meek Mill.
What do you want Kellen Moore to do? I don't know. Do a cartwheel? Like what are you saying here?
I'm saying he got to be more aggressive. He got to match Nick Sirianni's aggressiveness. That's why.
In what way? Where did you think he wasn't aggressive?
When Nick Sirianni said we going for a fourth down, we need a fourth down play. We don't need no fragile, slow the ball here. We got Saquon for a reason. Give it to him, let him pound it down his throat.
Well, they did on third down. They only got 3 yards.
And they did on 4th and 1 at the end of the game.
They did on 4th and 1. And they stopped it.
They communication is all.
I don't know. You just came on Ancient Pete. You said I like the fact that they were aggressive, running the football down their throat. Barkley was 17 for 147. That's pretty damn good. I don't know. I don't know what that was about. Kellen Moore's got to get more aggressive. 610-632-0975. We roll into the 11 o'clock hour with your calls after this. Eagles win. They win 15-12. The tenor of the show I thought was going to be much different. Watching that game, saying, oh, they're going to lose this game with a couple of boneheaded situations here until Saquon Barkley pulled them out of the fire, and then the big play to Dallas Goedert, and the Eagles survived. And the good part about it is their defense looked completely different than it had been. And I look at this defense and I go, okay, this is what the defense can be. Okay, they're going to stop the run. That was the one thing they had to do. However, they still are not getting a pass rush. And I don't know if that's going to get any better. It scares me. And you can't sweep this under the carpet because they're having to use Brandon Graham, who's 35 years old, for a lot of snaps. Josh Sweat on the other side. They're getting nothing from Nolan Smith. In fact, I think you can blame Nolan Smith for that block punt. A guy came wide, and I know he had inside responsibility, but you kind of have to chip that guy a little bit. So he has done nothing as an Eagle. And they counted on him to be a pass rusher. So they're not getting a pass rush. Didn't matter yesterday because I think the Saints offense played right into their hands. So it's a win. And people are a little happier that it's a win because it makes you forget about the venom you want to throw at the head coach, Nick Sirianni. And there were plenty of people poised to do that, Bill, if you looked at social media after the game.
And they would have been justified. I mean, we started the show, and as positive as we're trying to be with a win, it's hard not to be angry at the head coach with the decisions that he made. But to your point about the edge rushers, I got on Howie Roseman a lot for the last few months about how he's built this defense. And even though the defense played really well, and I don't want to be the negative Nelly this morning because they did play really well in stopping the run, a lot of that was because of your D tackles. Zach Baun had a good game again. Your edge rushers aren't giving you anything. And look, it worked yesterday. Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat playing a majority of the reps. Brandon Graham's going to hit a wall, Mike. He's 36 years old. You can't have him as your leading edge rusher in terms of snaps week after week. You got a first-round draft pick in Nolan Smith, who only played 21 snaps, and you have a big free agent acquisition in Bryce Huff, who only played 18, and those two guys have accounted for nothing in 3 games. That's going to be a big problem down the stretch if they can't figure what's going on with these guys. They got to figure it out. I give
Kellen Moore a lot of credit yesterday because he knew he needed to use Dallas Goedert. He targeted him 11 times. You know, last week without A.J. Brown, he's got to be a bigger part of the offense. So yesterday they finally did it. They targeted Devontae Smith 10 times. Those two guys have to carry the load. And Goddard more than anybody. I mean, that's a career day for him. 10 for 170, the 61-yarder where he's running away from people. They needed both those big plays, the big explosive plays to win that game yesterday. So survival yesterday. All the things that went wrong and the bad play calling and the missed opportunities and the decisions not to kick a field goal and a blocked punt. All that crap was going on, and I look at the scoreboard and I go, it's 3-0.
Did you mention
how are the Saints not taking advantage of this?
Did you mention Jalen Hurts turnovers in there? I don't even know if you got there.
Jalen Hurts with 2 more turnovers. The one, listen, he's carrying it like the proverbial loaf of bread as somebody chasing him. He's got to have awareness that somebody's chasing. And then the throw, the interception was ridiculous.
People are blaming.
You should have seen that safety. How do you not see that safety there? That's the problem with Jalen Hurts. Like, you got to anticipate that that's a closed space, right? Yeah. So Tyrann Mathieu kind of lurking, even though you're A.J. Brown, okay, a strong body, maybe gets his body in position to make that catch. But Devontae Smith, you got to see that safety's there.
Yeah, people are blaming Devontae today. You know, just like when Hurts threw the bad interception across his body in the red zone against the Packers, it was, A.J. slipped. No, the quarterback has to be smarter with the football.
You see, there's a guy. It's a closed up space in general. The safety's going to be there. Where's the safety going to go? They take a vacation?
Well, and just like we say with Nick Sirianni, take the 3 points because it's a tight game and points come at a premium. The same thing applies to your quarterback in the red zone. Don't take the risk. It's 3rd and 8. Throw the ball away. Take a sack or not. Run out of bounds. Whatever you got to do without losing too much yardage to get the field goal. Points are at a premium. You can't turn the ball over in the red zone.
All right, and kudos to the defensive backfield. Rashid Shaheed has been killing people, right? They targeted him 5 times. Didn't get on the board. did not have a catch. So the only guy they really have that's reliable is Olave. And he made a couple good catches, but they don't even get their tight end involved. They get Kamara involved a little bit. They only threw it to him 3 times.
Yeah, and if I'm going to get on Howie Roseman for the edge rushers, I got to give him credit for Quinyon Mitchell. Kid looks like an absolute stud already.
Yep. All right, let's go to Kaz in Philly. Kaz, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, bud?
I don't know, Mike. It's been years, brother.
How you doing?
I'm still alive.
Good for you.
But listen.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for me. But listen, the week before last when Saquon missed that pass, that's the reason why they lost that game. You could throw everything else out the window. He makes that catch, and they win the game.
I agree. I didn't think it was a bad call. People went to broil the call.
It wasn't a bad call. It was only a bad miss, a bad drop, but not a bad call. The guy was wide open. How can you fault the coach for that?
Yeah.
But in any event.
But this is what I'm saying about him. He's on thin ice, Sirianni, in this town. So every little thing that happens,
it's going to go to him.
Right.
But now here's the ticket. Yesterday, 3rd and 18, you're only allowed to have 11 players on the field. Well, the Eagles had 12.
Yeah, but the quarterback.
No. I'm talking about on the guarded pass, the 60-some yard guarded pass.
They had 12 men on the field?
Yeah, one of them was wearing a New Orleans jersey. That's the only thing. When those two guys.
Well, why are you playing? Why you gonna play me like this, Kaz?
No. Listen. Because if you're going to call it, the only reason why they lost that game 2 weeks ago, it was the Eagles' fault because he missed that play. They played well enough to win. Yesterday, when Goddard caught that ball, the safety was coming over to take him out on the 3rd and 18, and another one of his players knocked him down. They bumped into him.
But that was because Jahan Dotson gummed up the play with a like a fake interference pick type of play. That's what. That was strategic. Oh yes, it was. Dotson made a nice. Dotson made a pick play on that.
No.
Yes, you look at the.
It was.
Kaz, look at the play. I get it, but they're following Dotson, and he's leading him right into the other guy.
That's great play design.
It was a great play design. Now, they blew coverage, obviously, the Saints, on that play, but Dotson getting in the way of that spun him loose.
No, it's a great play design by Kellen Moore, and this was one of the things I was hopeful that Kellen Moore.
Penn State trained, Bill.
He is.
Penn State fundamentally trained, Dotson is.
But you go back to the 2022 offense under Shane Steichen. Mm-hmm. The Eagles they were the top 5 in the NFL in average yards after catch. He created plays. I just spilled coffee all over my laptop, by the way.
You got all excited.
I got all excited.
You're getting filmed by a national cameraman.
Yeah, Dylan, if you're listening, if you could bring in paper towels.
Somebody's on it.
I just spilled coffee all over the place. But anyway,
we got that okay. That will be on national television.
That will. Spilled my coffee. Mm-hmm. I didn't spill it as I was drinking it like you did a few years ago, but yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's viral.
Yeah, but top 5 in average yards after catch.
Uh-oh. Did you go out? The electronics fizzled out.
Might be a good time for a break.
Let's take. You knocked me out too. I'm
Ricky Vitalico.
11 o'clock hour. The 11 o'clock hour is brought to us by Grungo Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. GrungoLaw.com. They will be representing Bill in the lawsuit of Beasley Media versus Bill for frying the electronical system for spilling coffee on it. No, I can't hear you. You're out. You fried your system. You might want to go over there to the next one and see if that works. Bill spilled coffee. In case you didn't see it, I'm sure it'll be on Crossing Broad and going viral, where he spilled coffee on the whole electronic system. Where you hearing? No, I can't hear you now. You short-circuited the whole left side of the studio, and of course the engineering people, they're on their way.
How about now?
Yeah, we got you now. All right, there you go.
Man. Who made worse decisions, me or Nick Sirianni?
There's a viral video of me spilling coffee that's been around for 5 years.
I know, I've
right?
seen that.
But I wasn't destructive.
Oh, this is terrible.
Because the engineering people, they're calling some. Yeah. They're calling it a resource.
Well, that caller got me all flustered, saying that wasn't a great design play by Kellen Moore, with Jahan Dotson crossing and Dallas Goedert getting open.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point I was trying to make before I spilled coffee everywhere.
Are you still going to make a point?
Yeah, I'm not going to miss. I'm not going to miss a beat here.
Ray can't hear you now. Ray, do you hear me? Not through the headphones. Well, I tell you what,
I really messed us up in here. I really did. We were on a roll.
What a day! I got a guy from a national television here. We're filming.
I know.
We'll explain what's going on in here with my man Tony, who's filming us. Anyway, I got to tell you about FanFest. That's coming up.
Yes.
You can tell the story of how you messed up the whole system at FanFest. That's coming up this particular Saturday. So go to our website if you want to go to FanFest. We have a ticket rate coming up pretty soon. And also coming up at 11:30, I'll go around the NFL. We do this every Monday with highlights of the 5 things that I saw in the NFL. In the meantime, we're talking Eagle football here. Obviously, we don't want to bring up the Phillies yet because they lost again to the Mets last night, but they're still fine. We'll get into that eventually. Let's go back to the phones and see if this works. Rel in Blackwood, New Jersey. What's up, Rel?
Mike.
Hello, Rel.
What happened to this city, Mike? What happened to this city? We used to have pride in what happened on the field. When did we start blaming the coach for what's actually happening on the field?
We blame the coach all the time. In this city? What are you kidding me? We blamed Andy Reid for 5 straight years.
For the last 3 weeks, each one of these weeks, regardless of the situation, Nick Sirianni has put this team in the position to win games. It has always come down to execution. When has the quarterback put us in the position to win?
How did he?
He took a sack.
Oh, so this is an anti-Jalen call.
No, it's a pro-Sirianni call.
Well, how did he put them in a position to win yesterday? They won because they 2 players made big plays for him. What did he do that was so brilliant?
Did he take the sack? Did he take the sack on 4th down?
Did he take the sack?
Did Sirianni
did he sanction a 3rd down play call, which was ridiculous? Did he not kick a field goal on 4th down?
So only when it goes wrong is Sirianni.
No. Sirianni said it was his call. The fake tush push was his call to try to get the 1st down.
He's the bullet. He's taking and he's
taking a bullet. Did you see the conversation he had with his quarterback? He had a conversation with his quarterback. Kellen Moore wasn't even in that conversation. It was Sirianni and Hurts before they did the fake tush push.
But, Mike, why would we fire him? Why would we?
Nobody's called for him to be fired.
Everybody wants to be the whole time.
Listen, man, that's just social media nonsense. They're not going to fire him.
You can't because we've done nothing but win the last
Dude, Rel, you go a little too overboard with the praise of him.
Rel, listen, I have defended Sirianni more than anybody on this station. And I agree with everything you're saying about what he's done before this season. There's been a lot of good 3 straight playoff appearances. But you can also acknowledge that the decisions he made in yesterday's game were flat out dumb. They were bad decisions.
I disagree with one situation. From last week into this week, he has not made a bad decision in terms of situational football because we've been in the position to win every single one of these games.
But by the fact that they stayed close, last week he made bad decisions.
Okay, but none of that matters once you get to.
It all matters, Rel. It's all cumulative. If you can't trust your head coach to make the proper decisions, players stop believing in you. It's all Rel. You can't just say, "Well, they won and he made good decisions." It's possible to win with the coach not making the right decisions, and that's possible because in the NFL, if you got playmakers, they had 2 plays of 60 yards. What is that? Is that Sirianni, or is that the playmaker that does that?
It's the playmakers. It's Kellen Moore for designing the plays. Sirianni, as the CEO, has to make the right decisions, and he didn't yesterday. And you and I went back and forth after week 2 against the Falcons. We agreed with the third down play call of the pass.
Exactly. I didn't think that was a bad call. I had the heat off of Sirianni. But earlier, he chose not to kick a field goal.
Exactly. Earlier in that game, he passed up a field goal. That was a mistake. And what bothers me is he didn't learn from that mistake. He didn't learn from, hey, you know what? I should probably take the points early in football games. And then he did it again, and he doubled down yesterday when there was really no reason to do it. Even if you pick up that 4th and 1 at the end of the half, you're kicking a field goal anyway.
Listen, I know Kellen Moore's the offensive coordinator, but he's got the headphones on. He knows what plays being called. He can give the offensive coordinator direction all the time. So on 3rd and 6 at the New Orleans 37, I keep going over this play. You run Barkley off tackle. Maybe the head coach say, we got to throw it here. We got to throw it here. And if we get a 5-yard pattern, we're still going to be able to convert on 4th down. Running the ball there, I didn't like. That's under his influence. And then 4th and 3, throwing the ball long. And getting the quarterback gets sacked. Those are the things that I don't understand that he has final say on.
What, the decisions about what play to run? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. It was with situations. If you're anticipating you're going to go for it on 4th down, then your 3rd down play has to be a better play. And he's got to understand that. He is not giving Kellen Moore autonomy. He should be saying, all right, let's do this here, Kellen. And then Kellen calls the play.
Especially when you know you're going to probably kick a field goal in the situation towards the end of the game on 3rd and 11, and you're not even trying to pick up any yardage at all. You're just going for all of it at that point, and now you got to come out and kick a 60-yarder. He should be in Kellen Moore's ear saying, hey, try to pick up a few yards here. We're kicking a field goal.
Exactly. All right, Muhammad, cell phone. What's up, Muhammad?
Mike and Miss, how are you, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good to have you back in there. I'm good, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, man. Jalen Hurts, brother. I need the guy to stop talking about it and start doing it. He's keep talking about, I got to get better. Bro, I need you to get better, man. You regressed since the Super Bowl so bad. I'm tired.
We didn't play to the standard.
Huh?
That was Jalen in the background. Play it again, Red. Play it again, Red.
We didn't play to the standard.
We didn't play to the standard.
No, and I need him to be about it. He needs to do it. He's playing scared. He has a good line in front of him. He keeps taking the ball every single snap, sometimes in the gun, and battling back like another 6 yards. Bro, we're 1st and 10, and you go into 1st and 16 just by playing scared. I need you to stay in pocket. Go through your reads. And this is another thing. He's not going through his reads. If option A is not there, that's it. He's scrambling. He's going to the right. He's going to the left, and with no pressure, bro. Read the line. Stop. You have a great line. Every time you go to the side or left when there's no pressure, you're putting those guys at risk.
You're right. They didn't get They didn't get pressure on him. He had a lot of time to throw yesterday.
And those players, the defensive line, as soon as they saw him go, they just let go of the line of our guards and stuff, and they go chase him down. Bro, I need you to play better. Yeah, I need you to go through your reads. You need to stop playing scared.
All right, let me see what the number. He was 29 for 38 for 311, 8.2 yards of average per catch. And he had a rating of 88.8. 29 for 38 for 311 is not bad, bro.
But no, Mikey, our standards has gone low so much. McNabb used to put up
Particularly
4
when you play to the
touchdowns.
standard.
No. I think you're losing track. 311's a good day. 29 for 38. Now you could look at. He gets sacked 4 times. I get it. You can look at some things that he did that were wrong. An interception, turned the ball over twice. That's not good. That's now 6, which means it's 26 over the last 2 years. 610-632-0975. Coming up around the NFL, and you just know I'm going to make fun of the Cowboys. Back after this. as we analyze the Eagles' 15-12 win over the Saints. Which, to be honest with you, I hate to go to this level, but it kind of saved the season. And, the reason why I saved the season is because everybody else in the division stinks, which leads me into our regular Monday feature here. It's called Around the NFL. Yeah, that's the dramatic football music. There are the 5 things that caught my eye the weekend of football, especially yesterday. Number 1. Now, listen, I'm not the usual Cowboy hater like most Eagle followers are, because I always think that hating them only gives them power. But I have to say, this is a pretty feeble organization, and Jerry Jones is probably responsible. They just can't get out of their own way, no matter how good everybody thinks they'll be coming into an NFL season. So the Cowboys lose at home yesterday, 28-25 to the Baltimore Ravens, after the Ravens had jumped out to a 28-6 lead. And then the Cowboys had to try 2 onside kicks to get back into game. Ridiculous. At home, second straight loss. Derrick Henry pounded this vaunted Cowboys D for 151 yards and 2 TDs. Lamar Jackson threw for 182, rushed for 87, as the Ravens avoided going 0-3. Jackson started the scoring for Baltimore with this.
Your point, TP. And now Jackson will keep it left side again. Racing to the end zone. He is in. Touchdown, Baltimore.
All right, so what do you expect? The Cowboys to win 10 games? This Cowboy team win 10? The Eagles will win the division even if they're mediocre. That's how bad this team is. The highest paid quarterback in the league, too.
Typical Dak Prescott game, though, isn't it? Where he only throws 190 yards through 3 quarters, and then all of a sudden, pad those stats, Dak, at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Overrated.
Desperate times for the Cowboys. Number 2. All right, wait. Are the Vikings this good? All of a sudden, they're Super Bowl contenders? Minnesota goes to 3-0. 34-7 win over the suddenly average Houston Texans, as Aaron Jones, the running back, turned back the clock. He rushed for 102 yards on 19 carries, but Sam Darnold, Jesus, this guy lives again. Darnold threw for 4 touchdowns and no turnovers. Meanwhile, the Texans were a wreck. C.J. Stroud got sacked 4 times, 3 of them coming from former Texan Jonathan Greenard. The Texans also had 6 first-half penalties prior to the snap. That's not the disciplined team. Afterwards, Coach D'Amico Ryans was not pleased.
They beat us up and down the field physically. For us, we didn't do anything to help ourselves. Way too many penalties again. That starts with me. There's too many penalties, back-to-back game, over 10 penalties. It's unacceptable. You can't win that way when we have something positive going. We negate it by the penalty. So that just zaps the energy out of everyone.
Yeah, I wish once would say it's always on him. That's on me. That's not on Coach. I wish my coach would say it's on my players. I coached them all week, and idiots are jumping off sides. Like,
yeah,
I wish
you would last long as an NFL head coach.
But it's the truth. All right,
is Sam Darnold the real deal or what?
No. He's not the real deal. He's going to hit a wall, you know that. But you're riding high right now, the Vikings. All right, number 3. How about those Carolina Panthers? I do believe that Bill picked them outright. And then Ray Dunn, the quarterback, takes over the starting quarterback job from Bryce Young, the redheaded kid, and they take flight. Andy Dalton goes 26 for 37, 317 yards, and 3 TDs. The Panthers beat the Raiders. The Raiders stink. 36-22. Meanwhile, teams are burning up the Panthers' office phone lines, asking them to trade him Bryce Young. Why? Anyway, for some reason, Dalton torches the Raider in 4 starts against them. Andy Dalton is thrown to win a game 1,000. He threw for over 1,000 yards and 10 TDs. Here's a 31-yarder to Adam Thielen, still in the league, which gave them the lead for good.
Panthers are trying to get a touchdown.
They still got that one timeout left in their back pocket. Dalton taking a shot to the end zone. It is caught. Adam Thielen. Magnificent pass from Dalton.
How about Andy Dalton? Yeah, it's different. When you get a pro quarterback in there, he stinks, but he's mediocre. But at least he's a pro.
Yeah, he could win games.
Yeah.
He was probably one of the better backups in the NFL. Now you're going to rely on him as a starter. You're not going to do much. But.
No. All right, number 4. The Rams. They pull off a stunner. They trailed the 49ers 21-7 in the third quarter, roared back to win the game 27-24. The Rams were down 24-17 when Matthew Stafford got them down the field for a tying touchdown in 3 plays with 1:51 left on the clock. Then the LA defense got the Niners to punt on their next possession. Xavier Smith fielded at the 10, and this is what happened.
43-yard punt. Here comes Smith. Oh, here he comes. Xavier Smith, the first touch of his NFL career, takes the Rams out near midfield.
Look at that. He brought the ball to 50, and then 2 plays later, Josh Carty kicked a 37-yard field goal to win it. And now the highlight game of the night. Boy, I tell you what, I thought I had a really good one here. I thought the Falcons were ready to upset the Kansas City Chiefs, and it just did not happen. Let's go over this whole thing here. The Chiefs, let's face it, the Chiefs are special, all right? See, here's the thing. When my cursor goes out, it messes me up. All right, hold on. There it is. They warded off a charge last night, the Atlanta Falcons. They win 23-17. After early on, it looked like Atlanta was in for a special upset, right? Patrick Mahomes wasn't having a great night, but he did a big interception in the game, but it was the Chiefs' defense that was the most stellar, stopping Atlanta twice on 4th downs in the closing minutes. Kirk Cousins threw a pair of incompletions in the end zone from the Chiefs' 6-yard line. After the Falcons passed on a field goal with 4 minutes left, Atlanta got the ball back, drove down the field, 3rd and 1 at the Chiefs' 13. Tyler Algier was stuffed for no gain, and then this.
Cousins. Robinson. Stopped in the backfield by Bolton. Injured earlier in this half. Missed some snaps in the 4th. Bolton comes up with the big play.
There you go. So they went for it and didn't make it. Couple chances to upset the Chiefs. The Chiefs just have a lucky charm in their keister. They just win and win and win. It's ridiculous.
You could call it luck, but good teams find ways to win, and they're a good football team. Well coached, great quarterback. I hate it, but good teams find ways to win.
They were so due for a loss last night. The whole city was gacked up for the Falcons to win that game, and they had them. That's my play of the week, and I wound up going 1-2 with 2 losses in my NFL selections.
I was 3-0 this week.
I know you're on fire.
I'm doing well.
I haven't lost a college game, but people don't bet the college games.
Yeah,
I'm giving you winner after winner.
I know. I got to follow your college picks. You hit again this week.
I advised you to bet on Tennessee. Did you?
I did not.
No,
I did not.
Like I'm talking Greek to you.
Well, I would understand.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You would understand a little bit of Greek.
I would understand a little bit of that. But look, you talked, and you're around the NFL, you talked about the 49ers and the Rams. What you did not mention was that the genius head coach, Kyle Shanahan, blew a 24-14 lead in the 4th quarter. As much hate as we spew here in Philadelphia towards Nick Sirianni, let's talk about Kyle Shanahan blowing that game.
It's funny, your hate level. You hate certain people that are accomplished.
I do. I hate Dan Campbell. I hate Kyle Shanahan.
But see, yeah, I don't get it.
I think they're overrated.
Well, okay, and they keep showing you up.
How
do you hate somebody who's successful like that? You don't think Kyle Shanahan's been successful?
Has he won a Super Bowl?
Well, no, he hasn't won a Super Bowl. But
was he the offensive coordinator on a team that blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl?
I get it, but he's had one of the best teams in the league over the last several years.
Was he the head coach for the 49ers who blew 2 double-digit leads to the Kansas City Chiefs in 2 Super Bowls?
What bugs you about Kyle Shanahan and Dan Campbell? What is it? Exactly.
Well, Dan Campbell, I think when Sirianni gets accused of just being a cheerleader, I think Dan Campbell is a cheerleader.
This is a way
who makes
for you to
reckless
stick
decisions.
up for Nick Sirianni? This is a backdoor way for you to give Sirianni a compliment?
I think that Dan Campbell makes reckless decisions, and when you're the CEO coach, you can't do that.
You believe this guy? He's transparent, right, isn't he?
And I think Kyle Shanahan, there's a reason why I think he's a little bit overrated.
Let me ask you this question. Would you rather have Kyle Shanahan or Nick Sirianni?
Kyle Shanahan.
End of argument.
Yeah, I would. I'll give you
Case
that.
goes to the jury. That's it.
Shanahan's been to the playoffs 3 straight years. How could you criticize
No one asked
the guy?
you, Ray.
How could you criticize
No one
him
asked
3
you.
straight
No, but
years?
There's something that bugs Bill about like certain personalities. I'm trying to get to it. Dan Campbell, the overly macho guy. You're turned off by that, right?
Well, I just don't
nonsense.
I think that the love and praise that gets thrown at Dan Campbell is so overblown. The guy doesn't call offensive plays. He doesn't call defensive plays. His sole job is to be a CEO, and he doesn't do a good job.
What are you talking about? They're a pretty good team. Well, were they a good team last year?
They blew the NFC Championship game because of Dan Campbell.
They're still a good team. You pick on the good teams. I don't get it.
Dan Campbell will never win a Super Bowl as a head coach. I'm telling you right now, with the way he makes in-game decisions, he will never win a Super Bowl. And wait until Ben Johnson takes a head coaching job next year.
What's your beef with Shanahan? Nepotism? What exactly is it?
Now, honestly, Shanahan, I think, is a very good offensive mind. I don't know how good of a head coach, but a very good offensive mind.
What is it that you don't like about him?
I don't like him mainly because he's the 49ers coach. I mean, there's less reason to hate Shanahan than there is to hate Dan Campbell.
You hate the 49ers, therefore you hate Kyle Shanahan?
Yeah, I just think Shanahan, in games, isn't necessarily the greatest coach. He's I forget what the exact stat is, but when he's down in the second half, he can't come back to win football games.
You hate the 49ers because they embarrassed the Eagles last year?
A little bit, yeah. You know what? It was less about that. You know what bothered me about the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan? When they lost the NFC Championship game to the Eagles 2 years ago, they did not stop complaining and crying. And the head coach and the general manager, John Lynch. Yeah, but they didn't tell them, hey,
you're right.
Enough's enough.
That was annoying. Well,
Enough's enough.
Wouldn't you have complained? If you were the Eagles, would you not have done the same complaining?
No.
No?
Okay. I don't know, because it wasn't as if it was a freak injury. Your quarterbacks were knocked out because Kyle Shanahan decided to block Hassan Reddick with a backup tight end one-on-one. That's on you, man. Don't be crying about the rules in the NFL.
Is this making any sense, Ray?
Listen, the World Tour
the 49ers, they go, that franchise is pretty damn good. They've built a pretty good team. I don't get this.
The World Tour they took to complain about that game bothered me. Now, with that said,
jealousy. Jealousy.
I don't want to hear 3 straight years for Sirianni in the postseason and then get the Shanahan hate.
Yeah. That's good.
I said I would take Shanahan over Sirianni.
Okay.
I admitted that. But I don't have to like the guy.
Way to be bold.
It kind of blows your whole...
Way to step out there.
It kind of blows your whole argument, though. You're
I didn't say
taking Shanahan over Sirianni.
No.
You found a way to compliment Sirianni through Shanahan, and then, like, over the top,
What I'm saying is, last week, there was all types of hate spewed towards Nick Sirianni, locally and nationally, because of the decisions that were made at the end of the game. Wow, they blew that game to the Falcons because of Sirianni. I want the same level of hate nationally towards Kyle Shanahan, who blew that game against the Rams.
You are really offended by Sirianni criticism. You really are.
No, I thought last week was over the top.
It seeps out of you. You can downplay it. It seeps out of you.
But you agree with me, last week was over the top. This week, justified, warranted, go at Sirianni. The decisions were terrible. Last week, I was on board with the play call.
He's talking about Mount Union and his brother and his father and his T-ball coach. I don't think it is overwrought, the criticism for this guy. To be honest with you.
You know, I don't like my new seat because I got to stare at you when we have these arguments now. I didn't have to look at you before. Now we're staring at each other.
In case people don't know this, because I don't think it made the YouTube video, Bill burned out an entire side of the console.
I spilled
by spilling coffee. The engineers don't even know what the problem is.
One
guy said it must have been the sugar, and it was black coffee.
It was just black coffee.
So you messed up the whole thing.
I did. I was in the middle of a point about my man Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
And now I got to sit in this little chair.
So you got a demonstrative. Your hands are flying all over the place.
I'm Italian. I talk with my hands. But now I feel like, you ever see It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah.
When he goes in and sits in front of Potter and the seat's real low. That's how I feel with you right now. I'm like looking up to you. I'm all intimidated.
You're very low.
I'm all intimidated over here.
610-632-0975. Michael on his cell. What's Nick fired? Michael.
Yeah, I'm the guy who thinks the Eagles are going to go to the Super Bowl. And the only way that's going to happen is if Kellen Moore becomes the head coach or something now. Look, there's stupidity and there's lack of self-awareness that what he did at the end of the half was like a glitch in a video game. Like somebody like just something that didn't make any sense at all. Like, what did you think you were going to do? You're going to put your offense in the most predictable situation possible. He's going to throw another pick, and you're going to kill your team even worse.
Well, he's not. Well, first of all, he's got faith in his player that he's not going to throw a pick, that he's going to throw a touchdown. So, listen, I didn't agree with it, but I can tell you what he was probably thinking, that he could squeeze one more shot to the end zone out of this.
Why?
Well, because a touchdown is better than a field goal. That's why.
I don't
A chance to take the lead going into halftime is a little better than tying it, right?
He killed us. Jalen killed us. I mean, and what were you going to do? You're going to have 290 yards to 90, and whatever time of the game that Fox showed us that stat. And it's like, if we don't win this game, the whole thing's going to go belly up.
Wow, we had a caller that said he gets unfairly picked on, and what they did yesterday was a product of Nick, and you saying they won despite Nick.
They absolutely won despite Nick. They got 2 65-yard-plus plays in the fourth quarter, and on top of it, the defense played out of their mind. They were getting the penetration. Next week, I think the edge rushers will show up, but that's the progression I'm seeing from the defense, is they got another sack, they kept getting there quick enough, and the run defense, everybody keeps complaining about the run defense. I don't think the run defense is that bad in general.
Well, it wasn't yesterday. It was pretty good. It hadn't been the first two games, though.
Yeah, he's not that great of a runner, Kamara. I don't love him that much anyway. But I just really think that Nick. I'm going to finish the call with this. These press conferences and the redundancy and the lack of vocabulary and just the polarizing nature.
I'm the dumbest coach in the world. Belichick had a lack of vocabulary too, right? Because he didn't say anything. But I think he's referring to. I can't get enough of this one. I can't get enough of when he does this kind of stuff. So I like to play it ad nauseum, right?
You can play it again?
Yeah. Can we play this again where the T-ball coach comes up here, Nick?
My son's baseball coach always says that when they make a mistake in baseball, he's a really good coach, Coach Dan. He's like, so what? Now what? Like, if they make a mistake in baseball, so what? Now what? And that's what they did, So what? We made a mistake. We got to get over it. Now what?
Man, he's indefensible. He is. It's getting ridiculous. I'm with you.
Coach Dan, 9-year-old.
Oh, man. Look, I was okay with Sirianni's decisions last week. There's no excuse for what he did yesterday. And I feel, and this is a problem, Mike, I truly believe that Nick Sirianni made some of the terrible decisions he made yesterday because he was thinking about the criticism he got the week before. Well, why'd you kick the field goal there? You should have been more aggressive. So now he's overcompensating. I said this earlier in the show. When a player is reeling, it's tough for them to get back. They start doing things that are uncharacteristic on a field. When the coach starts pressing, that's a disaster.
Yeah. A couple big things coming up at noon. The Fanatics Kelly Green Cash giveaway. We're going to give you $1,000 if you're lucky enough. I'm going to give you a keyword coming up. And also, the news at noon. Ray Dunn has scoured the earth to find some interesting stories. That's coming up. And also, our continued analysis of the Philadelphia Eagles winning yesterday in spite of the coach. As our last caller said. Mike Missanelli Show continues. Enjoying lunch, listening to the show, watching the show on YouTube. We got a big YouTube viewership today, so thanks everybody. And we expected it. The Eagles win 15-12, but that's not the only thing that happened in the world. And so we present you with our special feature called The News at Noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the News at Noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All righty, News at Noon. Producer Ray Dunn has compiled a few interesting stories for our perusal. Ray, what do you have today?
All right, big football weekend here. We're going to get to some owners in the NFL later on in this segment, but I want to start in college football. And I asked Bill earlier if he saw this game live. I was watching this game live. I find myself just absolutely glued to the TV every time Colorado's on. And in this game, I didn't think they were going to win. I was kind of laughing at what was happening to them. And then they come from behind and win a game that they probably had no business ended up winning. The fans stormed the field afterwards. There's a ton you can react to from this game, but Deion Sanders gave his reaction to the fans storming the field.
I want to apologize to the opposition, the way we stormed the field, and I didn't get an opportunity to go and shake the head coach's hand, but I did try to go over to the locker room and waited out until he came out, but I don't think they got the word to him because that's not professional. I wanted to shake his hand and acknowledge, but I don't like what transpired at the end of the game, but I love what transpired at the end of the game. We have a fan base that's phenomenal. We have some young kids on this campus that loves and breathes CU football, and I'm thankful.
A humble Coach Prime. How about that?
You think he was being humble?
Yeah, I thought he was being humble. Why? What? You didn't think that was humble?
I don't know. I don't know if he was being humble necessarily.
Apologizing for the fact that they stormed the field and he get a chance to shake his hand and show good sportsmanship.
I guess you're right. For Deion, that's as humble as you're going to get.
Deion does congratulate the other team's coach a lot. He's been pretty good that way. So, Ray, why do you watch Colorado? What intrigues you? You watch them to root for them to lose?
No, that's the thing. I don't really have a strong feeling. I wish I felt one way or another about them. I'm just so intrigued by them.
Really?
Deion Sanders, the whole thing. I'm so intrigued by everyone's fixation with them that I find myself following everyone to go watch that game. It's not because I want them to lose. When they're losing, I'm like, oh, wow, this is going to be turn into a whole big thing over the weekend of, are we talking too much about Deion Sanders in Colorado? They come back and win, and it's like, of course they do. They find some of the most amazing ways to pull out football games when they actually win. And so far this season...
Well, that's the key. When they actually win, they stink.
So far this season, 3-1. And they found three different ways to win that I'm still trying to figure out, are they even... I mean, they're not going to go to the college football playoff, but they're a fun team for me to watch. Like,
that's fair.
Travis Hunter,
I don't know.
Sanders.
At first I was intrigued, but then it's kind of worn off.
I still find myself locked in.
Did you see?
I can't help myself.
Deion's son, after the game, was asked a question kind of like, what motivates you, whatever. And he said, my dad didn't do any trust funds for us, so I need this.
Yeah.
Think that's true?
I don't know. Who knows?
He needs that big payday in the NFL.
He said at the end of that, he's going to have trust funds for his kids. He was very clear to make that
I don't
mention.
think he needs a trust fund at this point.
No, I think he's doing just fine.
But you love or hate Deion, what he's done, Ray Dunn wanting to watch these Colorado games, it's increased the NIL money for these Colorado players. So he's done that. That's been great with Deion's stuff.
God bless him. I don't have a feeling one way or the other with Deion. I kind of dig the gray beard on the side.
Yeah, you like that?
But he's a lot of bluster. I don't like the fact that he tries to ban reporters who aren't positive. That's nonsense. I mean, he should be beyond that.
Now, I've been told.
That I don't like.
I have been told. Now, this is going back to like high school and college days, that I looked like a white Deion Sanders. Not athletically, just to my face. People thought I looked like it.
What?
Yeah. You see the resemblance?
I don't see it at all. Not at all.
I wish I played
You're
like
not
him.
facing me right now.
Do you understand that at all, Ray?
No.
He looks like a white Deion Sanders?
No.
I got that from a few different people.
Oh. I don't know what to tell you. I was a better athlete, though.
I don't get the resemblance.
For
All
sure.
right, what's next?
All right. We talked trust funds there. We talked a lot of money. I'm talking to NFL owners the rest of the way. Last night, did you see who made his way into the Falcons Ring of Honor?
No.
Arthur Blank.
Oh, Arthur Blank put himself in?
Yeah.
He put himself in the Ring of Honor, and I went and dug up in June. They had a video of the surprise that Arthur Blank was making his way to the Falcons Ring of Honor. Listen to the audio and tell me if you think this guy was surprised by being put in the Ring of Honor.
Oh, wow. Oh, my Lord. Woo! Welcome to Atlanta Falcons Ring of Honor. Oh, my Lord. Look, that's a total surprise. Oh, my Lord. Oh, man.
All right, easy, Home Depot boy. Yeah, come on, man.
Wait, he's acting so surprised, like they didn't pass that along to the boss. What was happening?
Yeah, apparently he thought he was going in to meet with one of their draft picks, and they surprised him with a little.
Really, it reminds me of The Sopranos, where Carmela's father got the notice of the surprise party from Uncle June before the party even started.
Uncle June.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it.
Yeah, you go. All right, Greg, what's next?
All right, I like some good Cowboys hate. We've gotten to it a little bit with Around the NFL. I want to listen to this clip in the context of what we know about Jimmy Johnson, because he went off on David Tepper, and I really don't think...
I was watching it live when he did this.
I don't think he was talking to David Tepper. I think in his subconscious he was talking about conversations he had a good long time ago.
He's making the decisions. He has got to listen to his football people and quit playing fantasy football.
How do you deal with it as a head coach then if you got an owner who's not listening to your football people? Can they ever turn it around there as long as he's the owner?
You keep getting beat, you're going to say, hey, wait a minute, I may not be doing it right. I better listen to somebody that's been doing it his entire life. He's got to listen to his football people. They've been doing it every day of their life. You know, I was told one time, Jimmy, you go to bed at night thinking about football. You wake up in the morning thinking about football. Well, that's what these people that are trying to advise him are doing. Listen to them.
So that's a shot at Jera, is what you're thinking, right?
Oh, it feels like one.
Going back in time, Jerry Jones trying to make. But here's the difference: Jerry Jones at least had a football background.
True,
right? He had a football background. Tepper doesn't. And he's right about it. Tepper's the disaster.
Oh, horrible.
Yeah.
You remember when he threw a drink at a fan last year?
Yeah.
And they fined him, which was the equivalent of like $5 for Dave Tepper.
Yeah. Did you see the video of Jerry Jones? It was Jamie Foxx's video.
8 inches? I saw it. I saw it.
I wasn't going to go as far as put that number out there.
I didn't say
Jesus, you're messing up everything today. You burned out a studio.
I'm upset.
The FCC's going to come knocking on our door.
Do you realize what happened to me yesterday? I realized that the coach I've been defending for an entire year may be an idiot.
Yeah, you texted me that. You were very upset about it.
I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to reality with the rest of us, Bill.
Hey,
thank you. Thank you for stopping here.
All right, you got one last item. Right?
Yeah, real quick here. Jerry Jones, after Derrick Henry torched them, talking about Derrick Henry.
Not really. Not really. Hats off to him. He had a great day today, and have all the respect in the world for him. And so, but that's what happens when you don't sign good ones. They can come back and have a great game against you. But the bottom line is we couldn't afford Derrick Henry.
Well, not really. Well, you can't just say not really. The guy just burned you. Wouldn't you like to have him? I mean, not really. Don't you say something like, yeah, we would love to have him. We just didn't work out.
Well, he was honest at the end. They couldn't afford him. And they couldn't afford him because they waited to pay their quarterback, their wide receiver. They still got to pay Micah Parsons.
We're just in tears at the failure of the Cowboys right now, aren't we?
I was up all night thinking about it.
They stink.
Well,
they might not win 10 games.
They didn't do anything to upgrade. They got worse in the offseason. They didn't do anything to make their team better.
No, they didn't. They dumped a bunch of money on the quarterback who doesn't deserve it.
Well, they're going to play the Giants this week, right? Is that a Thursday night game? Cowboys-Giants?
Yeah, it is.
I think they'll beat the Giants.
Giants are feeling good. They got to win.
Jones came to life with Leak.
And
Leak catching it in the corner. Yeah,
is that Malik Neighbors? That's your name for him?
Leak. That's what they call him, Leak. 610-632-0975. That's how you climb in. All right, 15-12. People still want to fire Sirianni, or do you want to give him credit? We're back after this.
football coach would have known. Kick the damn field goal at the end of the first half, Nick.
So what now what? I kind of like it, though.
I've heard that before.
So what now what? You've heard it before?
I've heard this.
It wasn't novel to the Little League coach?
Now, I'm trying to remember where I heard it. I've heard so what, now what.
Oh, that would blow the whole thing. Blow the whole gig for Nick.
Yeah.
If it was poached from somebody.
By the way, before we continue our Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts Eagles discussion, Philadelphia Flyers did something really nice. They asked Gigi Dro, the father, to come to Flyers camp, and he was on the ice with them today. Yeah, it was pretty nice.
Pretty cool.
John Tortorella said he asked Gigi Dro, and Guy said he wanted to think about it. He was hesitant, and then he decided to come. So, great job by the Flyers.
Hockey's here. If the Flyers win a preseason game, 6-2.
Michkov, baby. I'm excited. I got my season tickets ready to go.
6-2. Yes, it's hard to stop that juggernaut this year.
It's the only sport I'd rather watch in person is hockey.
We got Michkov with Morgan Frost, and who's the other guy on that top line?
Maybe Owen Tippett. You think they'll go with Owen Tippett?
On that line? They had that first line. I know it was Frost with who was it? Right? Was it anybody?
Oh yeah.
You know.
I don't know. We'll see.
Swing and a miss on that one.
Were you paying attention to football this weekend or something?
Yeah.
Ray was calling a play-by-play, right?
Yeah. I had a soccer game I was calling yesterday. I was calling that game with a Giants
calling
fan.
A soccer game. I saw the tweets. Yeah. Nice job, Ray.
Thank you. Yeah. Catching up on that Eagles game.
You were telling your tweet was that now you had to catch up on football.
And
you had to watch the football game.
Yeah, I was not encouraged with what I was going to watch when I saw my social media feed. I was hoping I was going to come back to blowout win. Great stuff.
Let me tell you what's going on here today, because I've referred to it a couple times. This part of this show is going to be on national television.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Tony Dupulver, our senior producer of CBS Saturday Morning. That's the show that's co-hosted by Dana Jacobson. She was a former ESPN anchor. I've met Dana before. And the theme of this, what he's doing, is idiot sports talk host now doing something serious, such as a true crime podcast. So the juxtaposition of me going from sports to doing this true crime podcast, which I've been talking about over the last several weeks. Here's the deal with the podcast. I'm going to be doing an episode today that Tony's going to be filming as well. Episode 7 will be out in a couple of days. I've done episode 7. Today will be episode 8. If you've been following along with this is about a cold case murder of a 9-year-old girl in my hometown in 1962. It's been a cold case for 62-plus years. I'm reinvestigating it and going over it again and trying to reawaken things so they can actually solve this thing through DNA. But episode 7 will be out in a couple of days. Now, usually I don't toot the horn of the podcast, but you have to follow along just for episode 7, because in episode 7, I interview the son, exactly the grandson. He calls himself the son because he was raised by the murder suspect in the case named Schrader. There's everybody that's listening to podcasts, at first you would think it was the priest. I kind of move it along to this other suspect named Schrader, who moved from Bristol to Louisiana, and his son describes what his life was like being raised by this violent, racist, drunken man. And I got to tell you, it was one of the most stunning and bizarre interviews that I have ever done with anybody.
I'm looking forward to this episode because when you finished this interview, you texted me about how unreal it was.
I was stunned by it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
This guy is a true Louisiana bayou type of guy, rough around the edges with that deep Louisiana accent. And he was describing to me what sounded to me like a nightmarish life without him realizing it was a nightmarish life. Like he really knew very little about he didn't know anything about the murder and couldn't believe that his grandfather could commit that kind of crime. But he also was sketchy on the details on why his grandfather went to prison for manslaughter for burning down a trailer home with his wife and 2 other children in it.
Yeah, this will be a good episode. When will this be live? When will it be?
We will release it. It's going to be released probably by tomorrow. So if you've been following it, it's called The Coldest Murder. To access it, you just go on YouTube. and you type in Coldest Murder, or you can type that in on all your podcast networks and hear it audio-wise.
Who would have thought Mike Missanelli's going to solve the damn crime? I'm telling you.
Today, we have a world's foremost DNA expert on named Colleen Fitzpatrick, who is going to describe to me how this case can now be solved even with minimal DNA.
It's crazy, isn't it?
So that's anyway,
good stuff, Michael.
Anyway, Tony's here, and Tony did take video of you spilling the coffee, which will hopefully be on the national broadcast as well.
I know. I blew out an entire circuit over here. I'm sitting in
they
a
got a rabbit
seat.
hole in there. They had to take out the whole console, right?
Yeah, I don't think
there's a
engineering.
rabbit hole in there. I'm gonna let's play. Can we play cornhole while we're doing the show?
I don't think engineering's too happy with me right now.
Well,
No.
why would they be?
I would say no.
Let's go to Joe on a cell. Joe, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Mike. It's Joe from West Palm Beach and Bluebell.
Oh, what's up, Joe? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm a retired engineer, work for NASA, buddy. But today I want you to educate me. I listened to you a little bit last week. Take me through your logic on the betting line last week, which drew you to the prediction that the Eagles are going to beat the spread or win outright.
Last week or this week?
This week.
This week. Well, New Orleans had rolled up 40-plus points in 2 games. They're an offensive juggernaut. The Eagles were having terrible problems defensively. So what did the line tell you? The line, I looked at the game, and in my head, I try to make the line. I go, wow, the Saints should be favored at home by 4.5. The line comes out, it's 2.5. So Vegas is telling you, this game is going to be really close, and the Eagles could win it. That's what that line tells me, because it's so easy at that point to take New Orleans. That's what they do to you. They fool you that way. But I look at the line a different way, and I say that line is undervalued. So that must mean it's an Eagles line.
Okay. I had an uncle that was a shop steward. He only bet on college games.
Mm-hmm.
He bet on one game every year. Penn State, when Joe Paterno had 2 weeks to prepare, he won 23 years in a row.
Yeah, that was a pretty substantial trend. I've been good in college. I pick up college better than I can pick up pro. Pro is tougher for me. College, when I see a line move, like I advised my clients last week to take Tennessee because the line had moved where Oklahoma was a favorite to an underdog. That gets my attention.
Okay.
And Tennessee won going away, actually.
One last thing. Bill, I met you at the Corporalese event. Don't let these guys disrespect you. You're a great guy. You're very talented. Don't let these guys, don't like that Mike get on your case.
Thank you, Joe.
Why did I disrespect them?
You see what I got to deal with here all the time? I appreciate it, Joe.
I heard that guy call last week. He really disrespected you, telling you, you weren't doing a good job. You're doing a great job, buddy.
He is.
Thanks, Joe.
He's doing a fabulous job.
Wait, who's
Except
he
he
talking
just
about?
blew out an entire console with spilled coffee.
Wait, what caller are you talking about? Which one? I can't even remember.
I don't know.
Oh, he hung out. I'm trying to remember who disrespected me. We don't get disrespected. We love the callers.
Of course we get disrespected. We always get disrespected.
Yeah, but it's part of the gig.
I've been in this game for 35 years. I get disrespected.
It's part of the gig. I got thick skin. Hey, I grew up in a big Italian family, man. Disrespect was part of Sunday dinner. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yelling at each other.
Oh, man, yeah.
We don't talk business at the table. 610-632-0975. 2 open lines. You can grab them. Mike Missanelli Show continues. Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, so the Eagles are okay right now. As we speak, they're okay. 15-12, sigh of relief win. We're good for right now. The Phillies, however, lost 3 of 4 to energize the Mets, who are now have the inside track to make the playoffs over the Braves. Got to give the Mets credit.
They've been playing
last
well.
night, the starter only lasted 4 innings. Their bullpen came in, weathered the storm. Wheeler doesn't get a win again.
Everything's fine, with the exception of what I've been saying now for a couple of months, that this team may give away home field advantage. In light of the fact that they lose every 5th day because of the 5th starter situation, if they give away home field advantage and that somehow comes back to bite them in the postseason, it's going to be very frustrating that they didn't bring in somebody to win them every 5th game.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I hope you're right. I hope
Dodger
you're right.
Stadium is not this crazy atmosphere.
But
where
it's not that-
in the past, they've gone out there. In the playoffs, they've beaten the Dodgers how many times out there?
It's a different year, Mike. Every year is a different year.
It's a different year.
But here's what you're ignoring. You're right. It's not that Dodger Stadium is a home field advantage for the Dodgers, but it's not Citizens Bank Park. So it's not like the Dodgers are going to have a difficult time playing in their own stadium. It's hard to come to the bank and win in the postseason.
Dodgers have 1 game edge now. All right, I'm telling you, to me, it doesn't even matter.
All right, let me give you something that'll make it matter.
1 or 2 is the same thing to me.
But let me give you a stat that'll make it matter. This season, the Phillies are 52-26 at home. They're only 40-38 on the road. So you look at those numbers. Wouldn't you rather have more home games in the postseason?
I'd rather, but it's not debilitating.
The fact that they were as so far and away better than all these teams with their record, and then you're giving away a game every 5th day. Would they lose like 70% of their 5th starter starts? It's something ridiculous.
Yeah.
But look, hopefully it won't matter. I hope you're right. Hopefully it won't matter. But it's a frustrating thing to watch occur. And they're only 2 up on the Brewers now.
Oh, now you're back with the Brewers?
Only 2 up.
Come on. They end the year.
I'm sorry, not the Brewers, the Padres. Padres have won 4
Phillies
straight.
end the year with the Cubs and the freaking Nationals.
But the Padres can't win their division, so it shouldn't become an issue, right, Ray?
Yeah.
So it would be the Brewers. But if the how's this work now?
Breathe, Bill.
If the Padres,
the Brewers are your only threat to take the 2nd seed away.
But how does this work? If the Padres have a better record than the Phillies, but don't win their division over the Dodgers,
they're still the 4 seed.
The Phillies would still have home field advantage over the Padres, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So it's just the Brewers we have to worry about and the Dodgers.
Unless you're worried about home field. If your biggest thing right now is the top seed, all right, fine. You could start to have your worries. Other than that, everyone that's worried right now, it was annoying last night. That was an obnoxious
It
game
doesn't
to watch.
matter who they play in the 2nd round, 1 or 2. They're going to get different matchups. If they're 1, then 2. Doesn't matter.
It'd be the NLCS.
Yeah.
I don't want to see
they're better than any of those teams anyway. All right, one other baseball note. I got to flesh this out with you here. This was a sold-out game, Ray, that the Savannah Bananas played at Citizens
You believe
Bank.
that?
So they sold that out.
Biggest crowd they've ever played in front of.
Now, first of all, I don't get it. I don't get the whole concept. I assume the concept is like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah,
And
just
you get
in
a bunch-
baseball form.
Yep. However, explain this to me. The guest hitter that they rolled out there was Ryan Howard. Now, Ryan Howard's been retired for how many years? 10 plus?
7?
7?
Yeah, I think 2017 in the
whatever.
minors.
He's not like training to hit a baseball. The guy threw 3 fastballs by him. When you have a guest hitter, are you not supposed to groove something for the guy?
Yeah, throw him a meatball.
Isn't the crowd there to maybe see Ryan Howard hit? He struck out on 3 pitches. Because the guy threw 89, and people go, "Oh, how can you not hit 89?" You know how hard it is to hit 89 when you haven't hit? What do you think he's doing? He's not trained to hit 89, 90 miles an hour. He's retired. People don't understand how difficult it is to hit a baseball. So I'm thinking, how does that pitcher strike him out there? Throw him a 70-mile-an-hour cookie.
Integrity of the game.
And they go, well, they're trying to win. I'm trying to win my ass. We mean it's important that the Savannah Bananas win a game?
The party animals, right?
Oh, it's the party animals guy. That's who
the
it was.
Washington Generals got to win every once in a while.
The party animals are trying to strike out Ryan Howard to win the game? I go, come on.
It's all about entertainment, man.
Why is that entertaining to strike out a guy in his home park?
They should have thrown him a meatball.
Of course they should have.
They had Jamie Moyer there. He could have thrown the meatball. The Flying Hawaiian was there.
We need a radar gun so
Jamie
bad.
Moyer pitched for the Bananas.
The
party animal guy struck him out.
The crazy thing is, a few years ago, when I was still practicing attorney and owned the law firm, I went to a conference in Atlanta. One of the big speakers there was Jesse Cole, the owner of the Savannah Bananas. It was more at the earlier stages of this Savannah Bananas thing, and he was talking to us about what he was creating. It was genius. I mean, the guy's a marketing genius for what he's creating.
I got to be honest with you. I don't get it. I don't get the whole concept.
Either do I. I'm not waiting in line to go to these things, but they have a loyal following.
What is the concept? What
it's
is
the
it supposed
Harlem.
to be? It's like it's inferior baseball, so you're going to see a guy do a backflip after he catches a fly ball?
That's exactly what it is, man. It's the Harlem Globetrotters on the baseball field.
But they claim it's not the Harlem Globetrotters. They're trying to win. They're trying to play serious baseball. Why would I go see that kind of baseball?
Banana ball.
No, it's pure entertainment. They did the Phillies
What's entertaining
special
about it? That's what I'm asking. What is entertaining? First of all,
I wouldn't go.
I'm older now. I don't find the Globetrotters entertaining. That's just for kids.
So is
what
this?
would be entertaining? This is for kids?
I think it's a lot for kids. I think kids enjoy it. I think they enjoy going. Look, you're not going to see a guy do a backflip in center field and catch a ball. You're not going to see them do the Phillies special on the infield like the Savannah Bananas did in front of the home crowd.
What was that? How'd they do that?
With the baseball, I believe, right, Ray?
How'd they
Did you see it?
The Philly special with the baseball?
They broke huddle. Yeah, I'll be honest. I saw
what
they
was
did
the
it.
play?
I think it may have been during their warm-up. I don't think it was during the game itself. It was like in between innings, I think.
What's
right?
entertaining about that? Seeing baseball players recreate.
Look, this is why they make vanilla and chocolate ice cream, man. I'm not going. You're not going. But 47,000 people were there.
I can't believe it. In Philadelphia, 47. As rabid a baseball town as this is, they got 47,000 for the Bananas?
It's a banana ball
This team is
town.
trying to go to the World Series. The Bananas are getting 47,000.
The Bananas.
I can see if it was a bad Phillies team that was in last place. You go see the Bananas for a diversion.
There was a line just to buy merchandise.
I don't get the whole concept. I really don't. I'm sorry. I don't get it. But I certainly don't get the idea of throwing 3 fastballs by Ryan Howard as if he's supposed to, like, jump into his 2011 uniform and smash one out. He's been retired for 100 years.
Yeah, that's not a good look. When you bring him in as the golden hitter, and he strikes out.
The golden hitter got fanned.
Rumor
in 3
is
pitches.
the rumor is he blew his Achilles out running to first.
Oh, stop it.
Stop it, Bill.
12
Really?
o'clock hours
Come on.
brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0. He didn't run the first base. He walked back to the dugout. 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. Let's go to Mike from Cosme's. Mike.
My man, Mikey Huevos.
What?
No, Mikey, no huevos.
Thank you.
Mikey, no huevos.
That's right. No egg. No egg.
You know,
no huevos.
a lot of years we know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Much love and respect. But I gotta go on Bill here. I don't understand it. I almost drove off the road. What is the love for Kyle Shanahan? I don't get it.
Well, how do you not get it? The 49ers are good.
You know what? Yeah, and they have a loaded roster the last 3 years.
So that's part of being good. What, are you going to blame the coach?
Listen, you know I got connections. He did not know the rules of the Super Bowl overtime. His players called him out about it. Like, they were like, what is he doing? Like, how is a 56-yard field goal on the road the better option than punting it to a decimated offense, making them go the full distance?
Mike, I got to tell you, you sound a little bitter because the Eagles got their ass kicked twice I gotta be honest with you. I think you got a little anti-San Francisco jealousy because they're good and
No, it's really not that. I mean, you got to look. I think he is the offensive version of Romeo Cornell. Great coordinator, not a great head coach. I mean, he's not a bad head coach, but he flat out lost. You go back and look at the Cleveland game last year where he lined it up for in a horrible rainstorm with wind. He doesn't know the Super Bowl overtime rules. I mean, like,
Mike, here's the moment.
How's a 56-yarder on the road better than punting and making him go the distance?
Here's the moment of truth. Would you rather have Shanahan or Sirianni? Well, then what are we talking about here?
I'm kind of with Bill because why does this guy get a free ride?
Bill has expressed stupidity over this. How could you be with Mr. Stupid over here?
Call me Mr. Stupid?
Yeah, because your stance on Shanahan is ridiculously stupid.
Listen, I'd take Dan Campbell and Woody called over Sirianni and Shanahan, but it doesn't mean that. I mean, that's like.
See, this is classic Philly bitterness.
No,
classic. I hate Shanahan. He just kicked your ass twice last year. So I hate him too.
Shanahan is a very good offensive coach. His issues have been. And I think his record, I don't know the exact record, and people in the YouTube chat can correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's like 1-31
why would you put
when trailing in the fourth quarter.
Why would you put the effort into disliking the guy? Like, he's in San Francisco. What do you care? They're a good team. It's a good franchise. They're going to be a Super Bowl contender again. Where's the energy? It's wasted energy.
Okay, here's what I didn't like. Okay, it has nothing to do with the fact that they beat the Eagles last season. It's more about when you go back 2 years ago to the NFC Championship game.
I get it. Get over it.
The head coach, you're going to tell me to get over it.
Get over it.
They were the ones who need to get over it.
Okay, well, so
that comes from your head coach.
They were bitter.
When your head coach doesn't nip it in the bud after the first player whined and cried, after the second, the third, the fourth, it was like, where is Kyle Shanahan? It's because that's the type of person he is, too.
I find this whole conversation ridiculous. I really do. This hate.
Why do you like Kyle Shanahan so much?
I don't like him. I don't hate him. It's like it is what it is. They're a pretty good franchise. Like, why would I waste my energy hating the guy? I'd rather have him than my head coach. Why would I waste the energy hating the guy? I don't get it. It's personal. It's ridiculous. It's childish.
It's childish, but yet
it's childish.
You're hating on the Savannah Bananas.
What?
The Savannah Bananas. It's for kids, and you're hating on that.
I didn't hate it. I said, first of all, I hate the pitcher for not throwing Ryan Howard a cookie. I think that's ridiculous. I don't understand it. Why you want to strike Ryan Howard out in his home city? What do you get out of that?
It's because
you're going to tell your grandkids that you struck out Ryan Howard when he was 70 years old and retired for 8 years?
How fast did they clock it? How fast was the fastball?
89.
See, the argument could be made, too.
That's harder than that freaking Allard throws.
They're probably trying to give him a little heat so he could put it out. It's easier to hit a home run when they give you a little heat.
You think he's going to be quick enough to catch up to 90?
He just played in that celebrity softball game.
Bill, your better argument was 15 minutes ago we got a call saying we disrespect you too much. You were called an idiot and childish within 5 minutes.
Yeah, what the hell's going on here?
Bill's side
Ryan
for some
Howard
of these
going to
things.
catch up to 90 miles an hour, being retired 7 years. Like he's going to the curveball machine every day? Like Charlie Manuel's working him out? What are you kidding me?
No, that doesn't make any sense. They should have given him a meatball to hit a home run. The way they did that introduction with the gold cape covering him.
They throw him 3 fastballs.
No, I'm with you on that.
Now,
but I still don't like Kyle Shanahan.
To be clear, Kyle Shanahan aside, you don't have any sort of emotions towards the 49ers, Mike?
Listen. Did I think it was babyish when they complained? Of course I did. But I go, how do you hate Kyle Shanahan? They have created a pretty good franchise in San Francisco. I love watching guys like Deebo Samuels and Christian McCaffrey. I love the fact that quarterback who gets no respect at all just moves the ball down the field because they have a system that allows that guy to be a good quarterback in this league. I admire that. Excuse me. I also like their defense.
I'm okay with everything you're saying. Except for the fact that the way that team whined and cried after the NFC Championship game, to me, is coming from the leader, from their head coach. So it signaled to me that Kyle Shanahan's that way, too.
So they whined and cried. Who cares? The Eagles won. What do you care about what them win?
It's why I don't like the guy.
A scoreboard. I go score. Yeah, that's what I do. So I point to the scoreboard.
I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, but that's why I don't like him. I don't have to like a guy whose team reacted that way.
I'm not asking you to like him, but this venom is ridiculous. The guy's a successful head coach in the league.
There's no venom. There's no venom.
There's no
the
venom.
way this came up,
is there venom coming out of him?
The way this came up is I said, just like the national media came after Nick Sirianni for losing the game last week against the Falcons, they better come after Kyle Shanahan for blowing the lead against the Rams.
I want to help you here.
You
have to stop taking it back to Sirianni because it's never going to happen.
Yourself. This thing that you think I get text from you, Sirianni this, Sirianni that, and I knew it was fake.
No,
I knew that deep inside you love him.
People on YouTube,
you love him.
The whole show. If you're just tuning in, I've been coming after Sirianni. People on YouTube are saying my fingers are crossed as I'm ridiculing Sirianni.
This is the headline. I read this headline here. Philly Voice. Yeah, Eagles stock watch. Saquon Barkley saves Nick Sirianni's job. An outrageous win.
So I'm not doing a good enough job.
Saquon did save his job.
He did, and so did Goddard.
That was a terrible, terrible coaching performance by Nick Sirianni in game yesterday. There was no basis for those decisions. It wasn't being aggressive. It wasn't even being reckless. It was stupidity from Nick Sirianni in yesterday's game.
We're going to hear the highlights of the two big plays, and we're also going to hear Nick Sirianni try to get him. Well, he did get emotional with the pride of his players. That's all coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Do not go anywhere. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. It was a great win because they lost 5 players to injury, including the whole right side of their offensive line. And guys like Tyler Steen and especially Fred Johnson weathered the storm. And it was a great win because they won a game where incompetence was evident.
Mike and Bill have been pleading their cases.
It brings me to the man that I have defended all offseason in deserving to come back for another season. And yesterday,
So much good.
Nick was an absolute moron yesterday. I cannot defend the decisions. When a player starts to press, it's hard for them to get out of it. When a coach starts to press, there's really no coming back from that.
They gave you the Congressional Medal of Honor. They gave you an imbecile, a moron who goes on television and makes a fool out of himself in front of the whole damn country.
Wait, are you comparing Nick Sirianni to Forrest Gump?
The Mike Missanelli Show Holding Court is brought to you by Grungo Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. We treat every case like it's Dallas Week. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. Now back to Mike Missanelli on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
1 o'clock hour of the Mike Missanelli Show. And the 1 o'clock hour, of course, is brought to you by Ferguson HVAC Line Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, and supplies for every heating and cooling job. Visit one of Ferguson's counter locations. Ben Salem, King of Prussia, Pensacola, or Westchester. Yes, the wisdom of Lieutenant Dan told Nick, so what, now what?
So what, now what?
So what, now what? And that's the philosophy he took yesterday's game with all the problems that they had to wade through to get to the finish line. And it was a great win. It was a great win. It was Vic Fangio. Shackled this supposedly potent offense with 5-man fronts, and they didn't adjust. And it was a great win because they filled in the guys that got injured. They had 5 guys knocked out of that game. It was a great win because they had guys that filled in. Listen, I'll take the W, and then we get to the other stuff, you know. And the other stuff is, what the hell? The hell is going on with these play calls? Why wouldn't you take
coach in the world?
Why would you take a field goal towards the end of the half for the marginal gain that you got by going for it there, trying to get a touchdown? You're not on the board yet. You're down 3-0. You go in, you're getting the ball for the second half. It would be better if you're tied, but they didn't do that. And then 3rd down and 6 call, and 4th and 3 call when they did go for it, and 3rd and 11 before they kick the 60-yard field goal. They go deep instead of throwing an intermediate route to get your kicker closer. I don't. There are things that I just do not understand that they do, and yet they won the game. So we're all disarmed by that. So let's go to the highlights, Ray. Let's first of all the play that may have saved the season, and a lot of people think it saved Nick Sirianni's job. Saquon Barkley. Boom.
Here's Barkley. Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley's the guy. He's going to take it. Touchdown for 65.
Joe Davis on the coach. Joe Davis is pretty good.
He does do a good job.
Yeah, he's really good. I had him on my podcast. Nice kid, too.
Yeah, him and Olsen have a nice little thing going.
Yeah, they do. They do. Olsen's analysis is pretty good. I think he talks too much. But they do. The first two, I don't know. Brady, I think, approved it a little bit. What do you think? You hear Brady yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching it on Red Zone, so I wasn't getting the full experience of Tom Brady, but he's getting better. You expect it. He's going to work on it, but you just played that Saquon Barkley run. You know what the most impressive thing was about that run? It wasn't just that it was 3-0 Saints at that point. That was the first play after Devontae Smith got knocked out of the game. I mean, you talk about a response. You're losing the game. You're on the road. Your coach has made some terrible decisions. You're down A.J. Brown, and now Devontae Smith's out of the football game. Eagles are probably like, oh, man, how we got – boom, Barkley.
Yeah.
Puts the team on his back, goes 65 yards.
Yeah, and that woke him up. The Saints did take the lead. Olave with a great catch. I hate Olave. He's an Ohio State creep. Ohio State guys, I have no time for him.
That's childish, Mike.
I know it's childish.
Right, I'm coming back at you.
Penn State,
childish.
Penn State, your college is always your heart, right? And I was sick and tired of losing to Ohio State. It's based on jealousy, of course.
You see, I didn't go to...
I'll admit that, where you won't.
I didn't go to a big college, so I never understood the over-the-top love for your college football team?
I don't have over-the-top love for my college football team. I have over-the-top love for the university that formed me as a human being.
They did do a great job, Mike. Didn't they, Ray?
No, listen, I played baseball up there. You
So
know,
much good.
The people that play other sports hate that football thing.
Oh, probably. I could see that. Yeah,
of course.
Because there's no team that even comes close to this
we
Penn
get
State
the
football
short
team.
end of the stick all the time. The other sports have to climb. It's changed a lot because wrestling is huge and women's volleyball is huge. But we weren't getting any kind of play with the baseball team, so we were always resentful of the football team. So I agree. And now with this Franklin thing, it makes me nuts that these Penn State fans just accept mediocrity. So don't give me that. Don't lay that on me. It's Penn State is my heart because it made me grow as a man.
You're bringing that whiteout energy this Saturday?
This is really funny because the head coach wormed another whiteout out of the season. This is
no, it's just the whiteout energy.
Listen, this is what kind of like knocks me out about him. He's such a cheerleader of sorts. That he wormed. The whiteout isn't scheduled until they play Washington later in the year, right? So they play Illinois. All of a sudden, Illinois comes out of the closet as a good Big Ten team. So now it's an important game because they're nationally ranked also. So he somehow finagles it where he gets a 7:30 game and he's telling the people, dress in white. It's not a whiteout. He's creating another whiteout. And the following week, they have a stripe out. Like make it special.
Wait, what's a stripe out?
The sections are supposed to go one blue, one white, one blue, one white. So if you're in a certain section, you're told to wear white or blue.
Now I got a confession. I've never gone to a Penn State football game. I heard it is quite the experience. You go a lot? You go often, Mike, or no?
I go occasionally.
I mean, who cares about the whiteout though? He wants a whiteout.
You see, if you went to a whiteout.
No, I understand that the fans love it and all, but why is it bothering you that Franklin's getting another
I don't
one?
think you should do two of them. You weasel another whiteout out of it. You can't go back to the well too often. You got to make it special. Like once a year makes it special.
I got you. I know where you're coming from.
All right, let's get to the other key play. Two defensive backs collide. It was really funny. But here is the big play to Dallas Goedert, which winds up leading to the winning touchdown.
Trying to get some of it back. They'll get plenty. Dallas Goedert is wide open. Down the sideline. Inside the 10. First and goal for Philly. 60 yards from Hurts to Goedert.
That's good excitement in that call.
He was exciting all day.
Yep.
He was.
All right, 610-632-0975. How's our text board doing, Ray? Haven't heard from the text board in a little while. People, what are they saying about this victory?
People are still trying to parcel out blame for a win. We got Tim in Maple Shade asking, is this what we're going to do? Blame Nick for every bad decision, but Kellen gets all the credit for any good decisions? It's ridiculous. None of us know at all whose decision it is, anything offensively. Shaking my head.
Did you pay attention to the telecast? You saw Sirianni in conference with Jalen Hurts before that with that fake tush push. So he was the one orchestrating that whole thing.
And he said after the game at his press conference, if he's telling us the truth, it was all him. It did look like on the broadcast, to Mike's point, that it was his call. I mean, he pulled Hurts aside a couple of times to talk to him about that particular play call. But the reason why it was so dumb, I don't even care about the design of the play. When you go for it on fourth down in any NFL football game, it's always about risk versus reward. Always. What was the reward if you pick up the first down at that moment at the end of the half? You got to use your last timeout. You're on the 13-yard line. You're probably kicking a field goal anyway. Maybe you get one play where Jalen Hurts, who has been a turnover machine, is going to have to force something into the end zone. It just doesn't make any sense. The reward's not there.
They have managed to get major gains off of fake tush push in the past.
You're not scoring a touchdown on that play.
No, you never know. I'm sure he was thinking that he could outsmart everybody with the fake tush push and do it. And the only reason why it didn't work to get the first down is because Calcaterra got blown up. Now, that's got to factor in. If Calcaterra is going to be a lead blocker on that play, he can't block. He got blown up by a cornerback.
Yeah, you can't design a play that relies on Calcaterra to be your lead blocker.
Yeah, so that takes it to another level of coaching. Okay, this play, it might feel good in my head, but do I have to factor in the fact that my lead blocker is the tight end on the right side, and he's not my best blocker? Like, if you threw in Jack Stoll in that position.
He is a decent blocker.
Right, but then you give away the play. You know, you throw him in there. So
not necessarily, because they think you're running tush push.
Yeah.
By the way, the Eagles, of course, it's all about the money. You see they trademarked the brotherly shove? I don't even think it was them. I don't even think it was them who created it. Yeah, they got the trademark for it.
Yeah, I don't like brotherly shove as much as tush push. Tush push is easier to say.
Yeah, tush push is good.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Steven in Allentown. What's up, Steven?
Hey, Mike Missanelli. How you doing,
What's
man?
happening, Steve?
Nothing. I kind of want to pick your brain on this a little bit. I was watching the Phillies last night, right? And I was already frustrated after watching the Eagles game. So maybe you can kind of clear this up for me. Diaz in the ninth inning was throwing fastballs, 98s, 94s, 100s, but they were all over the plate. Can you kind of break down, like, what's in the batter's mind? Like, can they see the mechanics, or is it like a guess? Like, I'm going to swing on this one. I'm not going to swing on the next one. I'm going to, like, you know what I mean? Is it like a crapshoot, or do they actually go in to the batter's box, like, with an actual game plan?
There is a game plan. The Diaz will occasionally throw a slider. So they have to be aware of that pitch. When you throw a 99, if they throw a slider and you're not expecting slider, you're dead. Diaz just threw it by him. I thought he was going to leak because they had used him 2 days in a row. He threw in a lot of pitches, but he legit threw the fastball by him. Cody Clemens had no chance of that. That was an inside low fastball he just blew him away with.
Yeah, and that's what I was like, kind of like, seeing, because Kyle Schwarber and Brandon Marsh, like, they just looked confused. Like, they looked hesitant.
It's possible they were thinking that he was going to drop a slider on him on any particular pitch, but he didn't throw a slider. He threw off fastballs. So
they were waiting. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you always got to guard against it because he can break your ankle with a slider. But you always have to, like, when a guy throws that hard, you always got to be conscious of starting to bat early and getting on top of a fastball. And if he throws you a slider, I salute. You don't swing at it. But he was just too good for him. He beat him with fastballs.
I know the Mets annoy me to begin with, and I just didn't like it. We were in scoring position, and he was throwing wild pitches, and I was just waiting for somebody to.
That's probably why, like, he didn't throw a slider, because it was a pass ball situation. I don't know, but listen, you got to give that guy. He usually blows up. I've seen him blow up many times, and I have to laugh at that he's blown up so many times and carries Mets fans along with him. But last night he was good. He got a 2-inning save there, and he had thrown 4 outs the night before.
Yeah, that's true. All right,
man. I mean, he just dusted him. 610-632-0975. We'll take a look at the wild card standings, who the Phillies would play as the number 2 seed. Bill's all upset. They have to go to L.A. Oh, my God, they got to go to L.A. and win a game. I think it's impossible.
No, it's the fact that L.A.'s not going to have to say, wow, we got to play 4 games at the bank.
You think Ohtani cares about that?
Man, that guy can perform anywhere.
Ohtani pop flies get out at the bank. 610-632-0975. Back after this. All-in Boyd, I believe, is going to be fun.
What time is it? 1 o'clock?
Yes, it's 1 to 5, is it?
You know who's broadcasting that morning, leading us right into FanFest?
You are?
Ray Dunn.
Oh, Ray is.
That's right.
Ray's hosting Saturday morning.
Everybody can get to meet Ray. I bet there's people excited to meet Ozempic Andy Dalton.
I don't see the resemblance, to be honest with you. I was watching him yesterday. Ray, you're a lot better looking than Andy Dalton.
It was big for the ginger quarterback community.
Yeah, there you go.
We've been on hard times. Carson Wentz's career falling apart.
Would you
Andy
be classified as a ginger? You're a ginger.
This was an argument I got into with someone for a long time because they said I was not. I think I am. I think with the way the beard comes in, it would be ridiculous to argue I'm anything but that.
Yeah, you definitely.
I'm a redhead.
Definitely are.
Fanatic deal of the week, Bates Motel.
Scary.
You got to check it out. You get 2 adult combo tickets to Bates Motel for the price of 1. So for the people that are into that Halloween thing, this is a pretty good price. 2 tickets, half price, $52 for 2 tickets. Halloween thrills at the Bates. It's one of the most frightening haunted attractions in the country. It's local. It's in Glen Mills. You can get this exclusive offer while supplies last on our website, 975thefanatic.com/deets.
Deals.
Deal. I say deets.
Deets.
Hey, getting the deets on the deal.
Did you know what one of the haunted rooms is there?
What's that? Ray?
No,
Ray with a beer.
You go into the room, and they just play Nick Sirianni telling you stories about high school, Division III football, and Little League baseball.
You brought that up. Let's hear from Nicky. Let's hear Sirianni, because this is serious. This is it's a serious one. I'm not making fun of. This is Sirianni 2, Ray. Let's see him talk about this one. Sirianni 2. Controlling the controllables. That's what he's talking about. As soon as we get our hookup back.
Yeah. Is Ray blaming me for this one? Is this from the coffee, Ray, that you can't get it?
He's got his finger up. Like, wait a second. So I'm just
He's got to pull
I'm
it.
Stretching. We're stretching here. So I thought these were all in a rack. Nick Sirianni, full post game here. So we got it? Okay, here we go. Here's Nick talking about controlling the controllables.
Just like it would early in the game, too, to be quite honest with you, because, you're discussing when you're going for it on 4th down, what 3rd down needs to look like.
I don't think that was the one.
Oh, it's mislabeled. All right, but that wasn't the control of controllables. So do we have him talking about the Hurts throw to Goddard on the crossing grill, or is that also miss? All right, let's go back to the phone. Let's go to Greg in Deptford. Greg, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Greg?
What's up, fellas?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I wanted to call and touch in on Calcaterra. I know you guys just mentioned it a few callers back.
Yeah.
But I just want your opinion on something and kind of make a statement about it. I know you brought up the play with Barkley where he got blown up, but I went back and watched him because me and my dad recorded the game. That guy, to me, I don't think he should see the field. He doesn't catch passes. So giving away a play, to me, I don't even think that's an issue because he doesn't catch anything.
He caught a couple balls. The week before, he caught a couple balls.
I mean, I guess it's few and far between. This past game, he didn't. He gets blown up every time. He gets called for holds every time. Why not just put another lineman in there in the 12 personnel? I mean,
then you're giving it away.
But he doesn't, Mike. He literally they attack him at the line of scrimmage every time he's.
I agree with you. He can't block, and the fact that he got blown up on that play was, we got blown up by a lighter weight.
It's an immediate it's something for them where if they see him lined up there, someone's always blowing him up. So I don't think it makes sense even have him in the game, and he doesn't even look athletic when he's out there. I honestly think he shouldn't play for the Eagles.
Maybe they can upgrade that position. Yeah, I don't think he's bad. He can catch the ball. He's always been a tight end, could catch the ball. He was out of football for
I just think
he was actually a highly rated catch tight end in college before he left football for a couple of years.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, like I say, after just watching him yesterday, we went back and rewound the tape a little bit just to look at it because I like to look and see certain things that we see throughout the game to go back and look and see if maybe I missed something or my pop will say something funny to me. But I mean, he literally, it looked like he was playing with a bunch of guys that were just so much bigger and stronger than him.
Yeah.
Every single time he was trying to make a play, he was holding. Even if he didn't get called for it, I really think that he's just a major liability to their offense, especially in yesterday's game because, they had to run that 12 personnel because of all the injuries, and all they were doing was blowing them up every single play.
What do you think, Bill? Watch him, he gets blown up.
I don't think he's a great run blocker, and for what it's worth, the Pro Football Focus grades came out from the game yesterday, and they rate all the run blockers.
Yeah.
Grant Calcaterra actually had a higher grade than Dallas Goedert.
Really?
For run blocking.
Well, how many points do you take away from him getting blown up on that fake tush push?
I mean, none of them were great. So your bottom four run blockers yesterday: Johnny Wilson was last, Dallas Goedert, Grant Calcaterra, and Jack Stoll. Those were the four bottom run blockers for the Eagles yesterday.
Jackie Stoll got some. He's my favorite player.
7 snaps.
Jackie Stoll.
7 snaps.
Lethal. 610-632-0975. Back to talk more about this. Oh, man, it saved the season. Saquon. Say what? Mike Missanelli.
So what, now what?
So what, now what? Let's roll. Go now, Nick. Because I just don't want to play where he's talking about the Little League coach. I want to play his analysis of the game. And so he talked about early in the post-game press conference, handling adversity, but also controlling the controllables.
That we talk about is controlling what you can control. We can't control what anyone thinks of us. We can't control what anyone says about us. All we can control is our daily work, and they did that. And when you do that, you're going to be an example to somebody else. And our guys did that, like from Jalen to Brandon Graham to Jalen Carter to Grant Calcaterra to Quinion to Slay. All those guys just showed how they handle adversity, and adversity it happens in life all the time, over and over and over again.
All right, so now let's lead into, this is for the people who believe that the players play for the coach. I don't happen to believe that they play for any particular coach. I think they play for themselves. They play for their assistant coaches who are telling them, who are coaching them up. I don't think they rah-rah it and play for any head coach in the NFL. I could be wrong, but I just think that these guys as professionals, as adults, have grown past that play for the coach mentality. But Nick said yesterday, players had his back. That's Sirianni 3.
An interception, whether it's a fumble, whether it's me going for it in a fourth down scenario and we don't get it, you got to overcome those things. And I'm so proud of those guys that they did that. It's just showed such a resilience and a team, right? A team plays together. A team has each other's back. I can't tell you how many times Saquon and Jordan, Mailata, and Chauncey came up to me as like, man, we got your back. We got your back, coach. I mean, this is a hard place to play. This is a hard place to win.
What do you think? You buying that? We got your back.
I said it to start the show. I'm not defending Sirianni because I think his decisions were terrible. But the team was resilient yesterday, and I think you have to. It starts with the head coach. If they didn't want to play for him, I don't know if you win a game like you won yesterday. But what it's already becoming clear to me is Sirianni is starting the oldest trick in the book when it comes to sports. This us against the world mentality. It's already, doesn't matter what people say about us. His post-game speech. The people in this room are all we need. They're already starting that we all we got, we all we need mentality.
All right, that's fine. Whatever works. I just want to, because he brought in a Little League coach, and he also brought his dad into the mix yesterday.
Be a man.
You saw that one, right?
When he tells him to be a man.
That brings a team closer together. Everybody, I know my dad's going to text me, hey, make sure that we win by a little bit more. I only got, you make it pretty nervous. It make me nervous, but when you win like that, man, it's special, and we're going to remember this one. And we're going to remember it on the way home. But then we're going to move on. But just a special team win.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I think he said,
Dad.
too,
you got to win by a little more? Come on now.
Didn't he say, wasn't it his dad who told him you need to be a man and accept responsibility? And that's why
you can be a man.
What's that from?
We do have that one. He went on about being a man. Oh,
I just want everyone to know, if the product on the field is not, if we make a mistake, a player makes a mistake, it's not on that player. It's always on me and me first. Nobody else. It's on me first. Because I was taught early in this game by my dad that if you coach it, if you're not coaching it, all right, and something happens on that field, that's your responsibility. That's nobody else's responsibility. That's being a man, and that's taking that's what being a man's about, right? Taking responsibility for that you're in charge of. And that's my responsibility. So first and foremost, the interception's on me.
Oh, I like it. There you go.
Well, he's, as the CEO coach now, what he's doing is, I'm going to take all the criticism. I'm going to try to take all the bullets for the team here. But the problem is all that is fine and dandy. But if you're going to make terrible decisions like you made in that game, your players are not going to respect you as their head coach. No matter how many times you get up in front of the media and say, this one's all on me, there's going to become a point where the players are thinking to themselves, man, we're winning in spite of this guy. He's holding us back. That's my concern. You can't make decisions like you made and expect this team to still want to play for you.
For now, they have his back, as you just heard, and I have his back. Yeah, that was a good win. So when the win overcomes the, it's funny because you're going through the game and you're lining up stuff to rip them about. Like, and you see it on social media, the knives are sharpened, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, here comes a couple big plays, and they win the game. And I go, I'm disarmed. I'm out.
No, you're right. I mean, I have my notes in front of me that I'm taking during the game, and I got real big. Sirianni decisions. Passes up field goal at the end of the half. Passes up field goal to start the half. Kicks a 60-yard field goal with 6:47 left. It was like one after another.
And he's getting hammered nationally, too, on the pregame shows. They're hammering him.
Now, all of that I felt was over the top because against the Falcons, I was okay with all of his decisions. I would have liked to have seen him take the field goal early against the Falcons as well, but I liked the decisions at the end of the game. This one, I didn't like any of his decisions. And I mentioned this to Ray earlier off air, Mike. Do you think that Nick is trying too hard to show that he's worthy of still being the head coach?
I think there's a lot of that in it. Listen, I'm watching the post-game show, and they're talking. They just won the game, and the theme and their angle that they're using is, well, you win like that, it's eventually going to catch up with you. Like last year, we went through all those wins where we ignored the fact that the methodology for the win, we ignored that. We looked at the W. And so, I don't think that people respect him. Like you talk about like the Jimmy Johnsons and all these people that are on the post-game shows and the pre-game shows. I don't think he's earned the respect. So right away they go to, you keep winning like that, it's eventually going to wear you down. It's going to get you.
Yeah, I go back to last year, and I got to go remember, what the stats were and all that. But you look at this game, and as crazy as it is that they won with the turnovers and the blocked punt, statistically, they dominated this game. Like start to finish. They dominated this football game.
They did, but what you got out of it was, my God, they screw up here, they screwed up there. Their defense was dominating the game. Their yardage offensively was dominating the game. Everybody was focused on what didn't happen. And that's because right now his credibility, I think, is low.
And I think he's pressing. And when a head coach starts to press, it's a dangerous, dangerous recipe, man, because he's going to try. He's over-correcting. He's over-trying. Like, I think if he didn't get criticized for kicking the field goal last week at the end of the game against the Falcons, if there wasn't that national and local criticism, I don't know if he goes for it at the end of the half there. I think maybe he kicks the field goal. I think he's overcompensating because he's listening to the outside noise, and that's a disaster for a head coach.
And he said he hears the outside noise. He said post-game, he hears it. All right, let's go to Robert in Collegeville. Robert, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Robert.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
What's up, Rob?
Man, I'm traveling in Boston, and I was listening to their sports show, and I'm telling you, man, I was missing you guys. So I just decided to call you guys.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I've made a motto that I'm going to stay positive in all areas of my life, and that includes watching the Eagles. So although yesterday's game, I'm ecstatic that we won, I want to start with the good. I think Jalen Carter showed up big time.
He did.
And if he stays consistent, I think he's going to be a superstar. If he does this like week in, week out.
Here's the problem with he looks like he's lazy. And he does and you can go back to his past history and even showing up late for the meeting and then what happened at Georgia, all that kind of stuff. I think he takes a lot of stuff for granted about his profession. I think he has to grow up. But yesterday, he was on point. He had something going. He had the juices flowing yesterday in that game.
Absolutely, man. And then obviously Saquon, again, a gift from God that we got him. What a performance. I think he just saved Nick Sirianni's job. I thought he was going to get fired in the middle of the field, in the middle of the game. And I want to just mention a couple of bad also, just to keep it balanced. And I think Jalen Hurts played really well, but his decision making again showed that he has ways to go. And I think he just has to play within himself and not try to be the alpha or something that this is his team. He's got to somehow do this, that, or the other. No, just play within your tool set, man. You're good enough. You don't have to do weird things, try to fit your passes into tight windows and things like that. But other than that, I think if you take away that minute against Falcons, I have no idea how our defense has been so good by numbers.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Because in that 1 minute, they looked like the worst defense I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Didn't even belong in the NFL. And somehow they're holding teams, to like 15, 16 points. Like the Saints came up so hot. And so, bizarre game. Happy that we won, but still concerns loom. I wanted to hear what you guys think about that.
No, I agree with you. That's good analysis by you. I can't add anything to it. He was on point with all his analysis there.
Yeah, and specifically about Jalen, because last season, you look at the numbers, statistically, Jalen was okay. It was the turnovers again.
Yeah.
And now it's continued, but I don't know. I mean, at what point does Jalen change? I keep having hope that he's going to get back to the 2022 Jalen Hurts that protected the football, that didn't put the ball in harm's way, made the right decisions. But now we're going on 21 games of this? I mean, who is the real Jalen Hurts? Is it the guy that you saw in 2022? And I'm talking about protecting the football and only protecting the football. Is it the guy from 2022, or is this just what we have to expect? Because Josh Allen turns the ball over a lot. You know you're getting that with Josh Allen when you go into every game. Is that what now we just have to accept with Jalen Hurts? He's going to turn the ball over, and we just got to figure out how to deal with it?
That's a dangerous way to live. It really is.
Very dangerous.
I don't like that. The 2 turnovers, I go, oh, come on, man. You can't do that. First of all, people say, wow, he couldn't have helped the second one, the fumble. Yes, he could have. Yes, he could have. He's running. You got to anticipate. There are fast defenders in this league. Could catch up to him, especially when he's going laterally.
Yeah,
you can't hold the ball out there like that.
To me, that's worse than if you get hit hard and fumble the ball. I mean, that one's just you're being careless with the football.
Yes. By the way, did we get any reports from fans on Bourbon Street? They flooded Bourbon Street. You see that?
They
Eagle
turned it
fans
into
are all
Broad
over
Street,
Bourbon.
Yeah, it was a good showing by the Eagles fans yesterday. They always travel well. By the way, that caller said he's trying to be positive and all. He has a new outlook on sports. I was hosting the pregame show here yesterday morning. You know how our elevators have the TVs on it?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes they give you little fun facts at the bottom.
Yes.
And
I
it
always
said,
look forward to the fun facts.
The fun fact said, a recent study showed that those who watch sports on television are much happier and less depressed.
What?
Did you feel that way watching the game yesterday? Yeah, isn't that crazy, Ray? Wouldn't you think it's the opposite?
Yeah.
I always it's funny when I watch a game, because I don't eat a lot. But for some reason, I feel the need to eat during any of this game.
I'm with you. Yeah.
It's like, okay, commercial comes on. What can I snare out of the refrigerator?
You have a go-to? Like a go-to food you like to eat?
I forget what I ate. It was like, it had to be something. You know? Even it was like what Tony Soprano does with the prosciutto. Like, I got some... I had some Lebanon bologna. I'm going to take a couple slices of this.
Now, Tony doesn't call it prosciutto. He had prosciutto. Yeah.
Shoot.
I don't know. Where did that come from? Like, in Italy, they finish everything. But then here, the Italians, everything's short.
They don't finish the stuff in Italy either.
They don't call it prosciutto.
Mozzarella. They don't finish. Yeah, they call it prosciutto.
Prosciutto.
Yeah. Italians shorten everything.
Yeah.
It is a weird thing. All right. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for our closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit lowenthalabrams.com.
All right. Listen, this was a great win. So I really would like to focus on this for my closing argument. And it was a great win because 2 guys made great plays. One, Saquon Barkley, the amazing touchdown run where he was athletic enough to burst through and then veer his body to slant away from defenders supposed to be faster than him. It was a great win because Kellen Moore made that great play call, crossing around to Dallas Goedert, and it was executed beautifully with Jahan Dotson playing a part to take advantage of blown coverage. It was a great win because of Vic Fangio. Oh, we were all freaked out last week. What is this Vic Fangio thing? They're getting killed on the ground. Well, he shackled them on the ground. shackled the potent offense that had scored more than 40 points. He did it with 5-man fronts, and the other team couldn't adjust to that. It was a great win because guys filled in when other guys got injured, especially the right side of the offensive line with Tyler Steen and Fred Johnson. And it was a great win because they overcame coaching incompetence. I know I want to focus on the good things, but my God, the penalties, including a 12-man in the huddle, a blocked punt, 2 more turnovers from the quarterback, shaky third down play calls, which forced them to go for it a couple times, not kicking a field goal. But listen, it was a great win, and I'm going to try not to be affected by the ridiculous platitudes by this head coach who, after the game, cited his kid's T-ball coach as inspiration. Oh, my God. Bill, it's up to you.
I'm with you on it being a great win. Anytime you can go to the Superdome, a place you haven't won since 2007, and you did it on a short week coming off of a Monday night in a devastating loss, the team showed a lot of resiliency, battling through the injuries, as you said. It's just I've been someone who's defended Nick Sirianni, and it's becoming hard to defend him, Mike. It really is, because when you're the CEO coach, you should be doing things that help your team on game days, not forcing them to win in spite of you. I just hope he can learn from this. I hope that Sirianni can figure out a way to stop being, and he's being a guy who's trying to prove his worth. You can't do that as the CEO coach. Play within the game, make the right decisions, don't get in your team's way. You got enough talent. Don't try to prove that you belong. Stop listening to us. He's listening to the outside noise, and I think it's affecting his in-game decision.
Although you did find a way to compliment him in a discussion about Kyle Shanahan. So, you were just critical. I know it's like, it's arm's length criticism because you'll eventually come back to embrace your pal, Nicky.
I hope I do. I hope that I do, because that would mean that the team continues to have success.
All righty. Thanks for listening, everybody. Very active day. We appreciate all the participation. Ray done fantastic job on the other side of the glass. We'll be back at it tomorrow, probably talking and getting even deeper because tomorrow is Sirianni Speaks, right?
He's on today, coming up.
Oh, he's on today. I think
he's
coming up.
2:45, you can hear.
Well, tomorrow we'll take apart whatever he says today. Have a great rest of the night. We'll talk to you.